was the Travis, and some flowers through my window. This is XFM 104.9 of a Saturday afternoon, just gone 6 minutes past 1. I'm Ricky Gervais, with me Steve Merchant.
Hello
Hi.
there, hi, good to talk to you.
Karl Pilkington is over there.
Alright.
Hey! Keeps it real.
Yeah.
Respect, Karl.
Oh.
Rick, I just think, you know, we want to lift off the show straight away.
Yeah.
Into the, stratosphere.
Yeah.
And, the best way to do that, it seemed to me, was to resurrect a game we used to play when we first began the show in old XFM days. Do you remember the game, do you remember the game Make Ricky Gervais
Rub me hard.
Rub you hard?
No.
No, that was only in the pilot. We never actually did that on live.
Okay, right.
No, it was the game Make Ricky Gervais Laugh.
Oh, I remember,
and we used to get people, Carl, you probably didn't hear it, we used to get people to sort of send in pictures and, jokes and stuff. And if I could make Ricky laugh on air with those,
he won a toffee.
Then they won a gift of some kind.
Yeah.
Anyway, a lot of emails actually saying people love your laugh, Rick. So in a sense, we're giving the public what they want.
They must be taking the mickey.
But this is a picture I found in today's copy of The Sun, so if you're listening at home and you want to know what the picture looks like, rush out and buy a copy, only 40p.
Yeah.
And,
are we sponsored by The Sun? We do White Van Man.
Exactly. It amused me straight away, this, because bear in mind,
right,
it is one of the world's biggest rock stars.
Okay.
Just check out the face.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Look at that.
Oh, that is Michael Stipe. Oh dear, with sort of like looking like, I don't know, some sort of Nazi officer. That's not libelous.
That's not libelous. In your opinion, Michael Stipe,
yeah,
he's outside there during the press conference for Peter Buck's.
It's not a good picture. I love R.E.M. and I love Michael Stipe. I think he's a lovely man, but that's a bad picture, isn't it?
He's got big glasses on and stubble, obviously still bald head. He doesn't appear to be looking at anything. He's looking right beyond everyone else. Can you see that, Carl? I'll tell you what he looks like. He looks like Zig, I think, from Zig and Zag. He looks like he's a Muppet made of foam.
Oh, lovely.
Nice to see that game come back.
Yeah, the medium of radio.
Yeah.
Oh, what a good picture that is. I hope you enjoyed it. Coming up soon, we've got Sir David of Bowie, Nicolas Cave, and Travis. Flowers in the window again. Play a song. Aerodynamic on XFM 104.9. It's alright. It was alright there.
Uneventful, wasn't it?
Really? So I left a sequencer going.
Yeah, popped out for a coffee.
Yeah. I don't want to diss the funny little French lads.
Sure.
But, you know.
Try harder.
Are they French?
Yeah, oh god, yeah.
Sorry.
Do you speak much French, Rick?
I speak un peu.
Yeah. I can ask, where is the Tourist Information Bureau? And, I can express my preference in music tastes, and I can order an Orangina, and that's all I can do.
I know, bière, blonde, pression, I think. That means, draft, yeah, French.
Tu aimes la musique folk?
Oh. That's filthy. So that means, Carl?
No, go on.
Really dirty. Really dirty.
Tu aimes la musique folk?
Yeah, you dirty. you filthy little
Frenchie. Alright.
But,
do you know much French, Carl?
Have you got any fromage?
That'd work.
That's cheese or fish.
It's cheese. It's cheese.
Would you not care which one you were given? You like both?
I think
that's a whole different kettle of poisson.
Yeah. I just think when you're in a country, you should have a little go.
Well,
that's a very little go.
Yeah. You mean like football hooligans have a little go? What do you mean?
You know, try and have a go at their language. And
well, what I do is I go in there and I point and talk a bit louder than usual in perfect English, and if they don't get it, I go mental.
Exactly.
Securing the fact that I've tried my best and they're having a laugh.
And that is the prerogative of all Englishmen.
Or just point.
Point and shout?
Yeah, point and shout. Don't forget, you know, because you can never be foreign if you're English anywhere. No, they're speaking funny. Just remember that. Yeah?
Yeah.
God save us. Sorry, go on then. You were going to say something else.
Yeah. That picture you were showing me.
Yeah.
I wish we could post one on the website of Carl. Remember we won an award ages ago. What was it called? The British Radio Authority Award.
Yeah.
And, we made Carl get in the picture, and he was a bit reticent, but it came nice. But his head is perfectly circular. I put a coin on it, and only the ears popped out from behind the coin. Isn't it perfectly round, isn't it?
I mean, when you've been saying I've got a round head, I was a bit like, yeah, everyone has, stop having a go.
Yeah.
And then I saw this picture last week, I thought, God, he's right.
Can we, can't we just pop it on the XFM website?
I'd rather not.
I'll go on, just get
Steve,
someone.
have you seen that man in a jar without a brain?
Sorry, is that something, is that a product you can buy? in like, Sainsbury's?
Is it a dream you had yesterday? You wondered if you could, yes, hello, could you make my dream into reality, please? Oh, we can't actually, sir. In, plastic would be good.
Sorry, what do you mean?
In the future, you'll be able to download your dreams and then just, like, act them out again, probably in the year 2000 or something.
Soothsayer.
No, there's some museum somewhere.
Yeah.
That's got this little fella who was born without a brain, and he's in a jar, and it's just that he's got a really round head.
Right.
And when I saw this picture, I thought, God, it just reminded me of this little fella in a jar.
Oh, and what do you mean he's born without a brain?
He was born without a brain.
So it's a baby?
He's not a little fella.
Yeah, but it's weird.
Do you know the difference? Do you have conversations with, like, people in prams thinking, that fella's little, and he doesn't talk much?
Yeah.
You know babies aren't, like, little people.
Well, maybe...
Well, they are little people, but I mean, they're not very small adults. They're not like midgets.
They don't do a job of work, is what we're saying.
Yeah, you're very, no. What do you mean?
I didn't read about it, I just saw the picture. And
This is where you're going wrong, Carl. This is always your mistake. You see the picture, you don't read the little caption.
But what do you mean? How do you think-
guess at what you think the meaning
But
is.
how did you know he didn't have a brain?
He said something like the brainless man.
Yeah, but people say that about you. It doesn't mean you haven't got a spinal cord.
I bet somebody's seen it and knows what I mean. It's a famous picture.
Right, call in 08700 800 1234. Once again, you win a prize if you can tell us what Karl is talking about. Just in general. It's an ongoing competition. We're trying to find some CDs to anyone who knows what Karl is talking about. Stereophonics, Vegas, 2 times. Well, we've had calls confirming that there was indeed, a fetus, or a stillborn child.
A pickled baby.
A pickled baby. No wonder it died. Born without a brain. But everyone has, you know, pointed out that it wasn't a little fella.
It certainly wasn't a little fella.
No.
But because it had been in the jar for a long time, I think it had aged a bit.
What are you basing that on?
You do carry on growing, yeah. Yeah.
Your ears and your nose.
Your ears and your nose. And your eyes don't grow, so, you could probably, yeah.
I'll dig it out for you.
Yeah.
Imagine if, like, there was an experiment where they were raising a child just based on the information that we said on the radio. What kind of a person
It was like
would they be?
yeah. And
What kind of information would they have?
it took everything literally.
Exactly.
And I think, there's no irony or, it was just...
everything we said they assumed was fact. Everything that Karl said.
And
they
any
assumed was fact.
question it had about the world, it could only ask Karl.
Exactly.
And it was
See, now,
his-
this worries me because without wishing to be disrespectful in any way, Karl, you know I think you're the best man on earth. When you have a child, we could be in a situation a bit like that. Do you know, is it a concern for you, do you think, that, like, when your son's growing up, or your daughter, and they're asking you questions, you're conscious, I mean, you yourself have admitted that you have a sphere of knowledge which you are an expert on.
Ask your mother.
You'd say ask your mother.
That's good.
That's great, fair enough.
That's good.
And I'd play with it. I think I'd be a good dad.
Yeah, I think you would.
But I wouldn't be the one who's shouting at it.
No. Who would you
like-
get to shout at it? Probably Windsor Davis. He'd be good, wouldn't he? You horrible little man!
Well, you know, I'd tell it the rights and wrong. You don't have to be a really bright person to know the rights and wrong in the world.
No. I think you are bright, Karl.
You are. And at what point in their life would you tell them about the evolution of the baguette? Which you told us.
Or the story of the bee.
Yes.
So you scored once.
Or the 2 children. Would you ever get them to meet as maybe like that? They could be godparents. The friends you had at school.
Yeah,
with webbed hands.
the big heads and
Big
webbed
heads.
They
hands.
weren't my friends.
That weren't friends.
I wish we could track them down.
Oh, that'd be great.
I imagine they're in a zoo. Oh, wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
2 big
That's Safari
jars.
Park, yeah.
2 big jars. Industrial strength jars. Oh, dear.
Man.
Guess what?
Go on.
This is one of our last shows. We're going away, I'm afraid, on the, 4th of May, isn't it?
I can't remember.
That's our last show, the 4th of May.
Yeah, not forever.
I brought a downer on the whole thing then,
Yeah.
didn't I? There's people cheering. Well, guess who's taken over from us? And I found this out. I was watching Liquid News the other night.
Right.
No one had called me. Zoe Ball.
Well, she's a good presenter, but is this confirmed?
I don't know. Oh, should I have said that?
Is this true?
Yeah, I think so. Oh, yeah, you've done it now.
Yeah.
She was in the other day, you watched it on the telly, so...
Yeah.
But what annoys me is, this is rather like when we got, according to last week's Media Guardian, we got rapped for saying the word cock on the radio. And, well, we never did we? We had to read that on the internet. No one never told us
that just slipped out of your mouth, didn't it?
What's that, cock?
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway,
And, now we don't even get told face to face that Zoe Ball's gonna take over.
Yeah, but it was only, like, sorted out the other day, and then when I saw you...
We're allowed to say Ball, aren't we?
Yeah. When I saw you yesterday, I said, yeah, it's...
So we're not allowed to say...
Oh.
No, I'm not gonna say the word, and we're not gonna say, we're not allowed to say the, we are allowed to say the male bird is a cock, we're not allowed to say the other one, but we are allowed to say ball.
Yeah.
What if her and her dad, Bobby, would we be able to say a pair of balls? Would we be able to say that? And I don't know.
I don't think he's part of the deal. So you don't need to.
In fact, if she's listening, call in and confirm it. We'd let her on the air, won't we? As long as she doesn't swear.
Yeah, don't be rude.
Yeah, don't be rude, Zoe.
Lou.
Yeah.
Don't be cheap, basically.
Better warn as well not to leave too much, nothing lying around. 'Cause it'll be gone. Especially if it's skag. Echo and the Bunnymen. Killing Moon. Good to hear that again.
Yes.
On XFM 104.9.
Who are you?
I'm Ricky Gervais. Who are you?
Steve Merchant.
Who's that funny little round-headed fella over there?
Karl Pilkington.
Pilky. Pilkers.
Well, she ain't called, so mustn't be true.
I just didn't think we were, being disrespectful to her, because we both think she's a fine presenter, and I think she'd do very well on there, and I think it's a good move as well.
Yeah, but can you just say it's not forever?
Isn't it?
No,
I think she'll become more popular than us.
And I think that'll be the end of us, to be honest.
Well, she can string a sentence together.
I think she'll get lots of PR and everything, and she goes out with Big Boy Slim.
Big Boy Slim.
Who's, you know...
A good DJ.
He's a good DJ. And, is her name Zoe Slim now?
Yeah.
Right. And, you know, there will be nothing. It's 3 months, isn't it, she's taken over for? Is she getting paid the same as us?
I don't know.
We'll find out.
I bet it's a hell of a lot more.
I'll go mental.
I bet it's good money. It's good money.
I'll go mental.
Yeah, well.
Well, there you go. What are you gonna do?
I'm,
for 3 months.
I'm gonna have Saturdays off.
Is she, are you gonna present with her? Are you gonna come on and press the buttons?
He's not allowed.
No, I hope not, because, you know, you're our whipping boy, co-presenter.
Yeah. You're like our little fella in a jar.
Yeah.
In fact,
that's what we should do with you over those 3 months. Keep it in a jar, and we can have it in alternate weeks. Like step-parents or whatever.
Yeah, that'd be great, wouldn't it?
Brilliant, just you can
me and Steve will fight for custody.
Yeah, it'll be a big jar though, you can put stuff in there.
You can have, it won't be like, full of water or vinegar or whatever they do, or
you won't become Pickled Carl.
No. It'd be like an big air chamber, and you're sat there, and it'd be like a little, what would it be, an armchair or something?
It'd be in an armchair, and we'd have stuff in there, and we'd bring your girlfriend, like, once a week, and she'd go, and we put a blanket over the top, so we wouldn't, you know, see anything.
But like the Big Brother household.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, that's a hell of a documentary.
Oh, that'd be amazing, wouldn't it?
Carl in a jar.
But anyway, that's what, so we're going away on the 4th of May for 12 weeks.
It's a long time, isn't it?
We were doing the second series of The Office, so we can't be around, I'm afraid. And Zoe Ball's standing in for us. And,
that can't be right. She's not I don't think you can say standing in for us.
Isn't that right?
Taking over the show, I think, would be fair to say.
I don't know. I can't say anything now, can you? I'm worried about that. Just because he goes up with Big Boy Slim, you gotta be careful what you say.
Yeah. Carl, you look upset.
He's starting to think that we're getting melancholy now, that you're just gonna sit at home. What are you gonna do every Saturday?
Dunno. Go shopping.
Let's sort out a jar. We've got to do the balloons before then as well. You've got to send you up in a balloon. Maybe we can send you up in a balloon and you come straight down into a big jar.
Yeah.
And they put
a giant cork in straight away.
yeah, and there's a big chair.
I'll tell you what we could do. We could set you adrift, like Robinson Crusoe, set the bottle and see where you end up.
If you find me, yeah. Oh, you might go to an uninhabited island or something.
I'll tell you something learned in the week.
Go on.
Just reminded me there about going up in the air.
Go on.
Right, if cars could drive up, it only take an hour to get into space.
Which is great.
Going how fast?
About 50 miles an hour.
You just made that up, didn't you? You just guessed that. You just guessed it. You just said about 50.
Yeah,
see, this is what worries me. If you have a son or a daughter,
yeah,
age 50, he's gonna be out in the street with a ramp pointing into the sky.
Dad, how long do elephants live? About 1,000 years. 1,000 or something.
I wouldn't say.
Dad, how much can an ant lift? About a quarter of a kilogram, probably. About 2 bags of sugar.
If you guess, it's not fact.
Yeah. Just because you thought it, that doesn't make it fact. Does anyone know how long it'd take a car going 50 miles an hour?
People are phoning in about anything now, Rick.
Yeah.
We asked them to phone in about the jar thing. Switchboard lit up. It's crazy. You ask him to phone in about, like, you know, something sensible, like Che Guevara, or, you know, the life of Winston Churchill. There's nothing.
That is really a demographic sort of snapshot of our fans.
Our audience.
Ask them about a dead baby without a brain.
Oh, yeah.
And they're reaching for their phones. They don't mind what their bill is that much.
We ask them for, you know, I don't know, great quotes or something from the great philosophers. Nothing.
They just
ask them where to buy, meths cheap. Straight on the phone.
Oh, do you know the quotes that Ricky gave me last week and I turned them down?
Yeah.
I got home, girlfriend had a go at me.
They don't know you turned him down. What you know is that he said he didn't want to take the book at the end of the show, he said, I'm not taking it, it's too difficult. I'm gonna go and get a nice one, and go on, carry on.
So I went home, and Suzanne said, where's the book? She was really looking forward to having a look at it. I said, I gave it him back, I wasn't up for that. And yet, last week I was ill and stuff, I wasn't in the mood for learning. So I'm not having it. She goes, this is where you went wrong at school.
Oh.
She said, this is exactly where you went wrong. She said, you know, you liked infants, you liked, you know, you're colouring in and you're painting stuff. She said, but as soon as it gets to the heavy stuff, you just, you know, you're like a horse with its blinkers on.
Yeah.
So you just shut yourself away. So I said, no, I could have done if I wanted to. So anyway, we went and bought a quotations book, so I have got some quotes.
Yeah, what's the quotation book you bought? So I was asking him to, read Keats and Wilde, Wordsworth, Shakespeare. What did you buy?
It's quotes with, like, Eric and Ernie and that in it. No, but they're still quotes.
They're still quotes,
The Sesame Street book of quotes. Brilliant. They're still valid. No, it's a starting point. It's a starting point.
Okay.
Well, we'll have some quotes.
We'll have some of that after
We've got a lot more to get through before
we've got a bit of new order.
Bit of new order.
Excellent. New order, here to stay. On XFM 104.9. Someone, I love our listeners, I really do, right? Someone just called in and said it's about he went, hello? Karl answers the phones. The bloke said, hello? He went, hello. He said, yeah, about putting Karl in a big jar, and Karl went, go on. And the bloke went, well then you could call him Karl Pilkington. And he went, thanks. I love the bothering. I like Karl Pilkington. That's lovely. That's so sweet. He spent 50p to tell you that, and you were worried. You just saw you going up in a balloon and landing in a jar again, didn't you? What have you gone through yet? You've had nothing but good feedback from this show now, and now you're just getting all worried, aren't you? Heat magazine say you're a genius. You've got your picture in that Extracts magazine with a little round head. You have Jaffa cakes. I gave him a £5 the other week to buy biscuits. He's having the time of his life. This is his best day. This must be your best 2 hours of the week.
I enjoy it, yeah. It's alright sometimes.
Yeah? What's better regular than this for you? What's a better 2 hours a week? Sleep doesn't count.
Actually, you're probably right, it might be this.
Yeah?
Yeah. Or, that 24 thing's good.
Alright.
Probably worth mentioning
Suzanne.
Yeah, your girlfriend.
Yeah, well that goes without saying, doesn't it?
Oh, he's done it. He's pulled it round. He's pulled it round. He's a charmer.
If you could come in and sit in the corner, then yeah, it would be the best time ever.
That's pretty sweet, actually.
Oh.
She's not even in London at the moment.
Oh, so you want
have to say that.
Yeah.
You have to say it, and you did anyway.
Yeah. That's lovely.
She might be listening somewhere.
Yeah, it's Sky Digital, and there's always that. There's always
that danger.
Yeah. Anyway, Steve, over to you.
I just was wondering, because I've had an exciting week, relatively speaking, Rick, because instead of just spending it all with you, sat in a little room, as is our way, I've been doing some acting this week, as you know. I know. And I don't normally act, but basically, there's some people at the BBC who are making a comedy pilot, kind of comedy TV show, and you know, and I auditioned for it, and the role was to play a sort of freaky-looking, sort of lanky geek, you know, and I don't want to say—
how did you beat off?
I don't want to sound arrogant, Rick, but they gave me the job on the spot. You know, so it was like, you know, obviously I'm, you know, because I'm not a bad actor, I'm not as good as Rick, but I'm, you know,
what is it?
I play a really tall guy, like a sort of—
That's the part though, isn't it? About, you've got a beard.
I'm a character who's 6 foot 7 inches tall, and I'm trying to win the world's tallest man.
That's it, yeah.
But there's always a man that beats me every year because he's slightly taller. But this year, I think for some reason, because I've been training, I can beat him.
That's the conceit.
Sally Phillips, I don't know if you know Sally Phillips, she's a very good comedy writer and actress, and she's written it. So it was good fun, and so I went down there, and it was good and everything. It was, you know, a little trailer and everything. It was like the proper deal. It was really good. And the problem was yesterday, I had to dance. One of the sequences had me dancing. Now, as you know, I think I'm a pretty groovy dancer. I'm a bit of a mover.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you this, Rick.
Do you have anyone's eye out with your elbow?
I have come to some serious realizations about my dancing.
Really?
I was moving around like a Shire horse dancing.
Really?
It was terrible. I was just like quick, and they had this choreographer trying to show me some moves, and it was just—
he was just like crying by the end of it.
It was
they were, yeah.
It was so bad, but the worst thing about it is, today, my whole body is ravaged with pain and agony. I'm utterly devastated by the agony of it. Trying to get down the stairs this morning, I swear to God, I looked like Thor Hurd. Trying to hobble that, it was mad. I was like I'd had several hip replacements. I was like, I had to go down at an angle, going down the stairs. It was ludicrous, and I was really worried. Suddenly I'm thinking, because I thought I was pretty fit and pretty groovy and everything. And I had been discussing with, this mate of mine, my housemate, that we should maybe start doing some exercise, because I'm putting on a little bit of weight, right? He's quite a thin, tall guy. He has a belly. I don't know how to summarise it. Have you ever seen the film Junior with Arnold Schwarzenegger? Yeah. It looks like that.
Really?
It's slightly grotesque. So the two of us were, so we decided that we were gonna do some exercise together, right? This is what we're gonna do. Each morning we were gonna get up, we were gonna exercise together.
That won't happen.
Right, well no, but wait Rick, you see you're wrong, because a couple of days ago I said to him, listen, what we should do is get one of those like health videos, you know, those kind of training videos, what they called like, I don't know, they might have an aerobics thing or a sort of hour-long workout. And I said to him, get one of the ones that's hosted by like,
Pauline Quirk.
Elle Macpherson or Cindy Crawford, you know, someone like that, someone sexy, right? So, I swear to God, we went down this morning, we put it on, right? Just want you to picture this scene, right? It's me and my mate in our shorts, right? 9 o'clock in the morning, working out.
You didn't actually do it.
To Helen from Big Brother's video, right? It was the cheapest one, Steve, you told me. Thanks very much, mate.
We saw that advertised as well.
Working out, right? And the two of us in our shorts, she's there, like, you know, she's the closest there is to a living Homer Simpson, right, shouting out and stuff. I just wanted to be reassured, Rick. There's nothing gay about that, is there? There's nothing a touch kind of fruity about that image.
No, I mean, the ones you do avoid would be sort of Liza Minnelli, workout.
Cher.
Graham Norton, obviously.
Yeah. Dale Winton.
Gay Byrne.
Right, sure.
He's not gay.
No.
But, I mean, the name's a little bit gay, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I think Helen from Big Brother, you're probably safe.
Mm-hmm.
Who else? I don't know what else to tell you, really.
But I mean, because I know you've got a personal trainer, I'm obviously not in that kind of state, there's kind of states at the moment, I don't have that kind of cash.
No.
But, you know, I'm obviously quite excited. What have I got to look forward to? Do I go through a
my trainer, Pink Eric, we call him.
Yeah.
No, I sort of box a little bit.
But what I'm saying is, do you go through a pain barrier?
No, I stop way before that.
Right.
And I sit down and have a beer.
Right.
There's no point in going through pain, because it'd just put you off.
Sure.
So, if you start feeling any sort of pain, or any, breathlessness, or any aches, sit down immediately.
Now, is it right that he's worked out a special routine for you where you don't have to get up?
Yeah, well, he actually said, I remember the first, I got my food diary, and he was looking at it, and I could see he sort of feared it. He feared taking on this challenge. And this is a true quote. At one point, he said, right, okay, cut cheese down to 5 times a week then. I must have haggled from 4. Cheese down to 5 times a week. And it's sort of like, I'm my own worst enemy. Because if I cut out cheese and beer, I would just lose weight. Like, it would drop off me in a month. So what I'm doing, I'm fighting it all the time. I haven't changed my sort of eating and drinking habits, but I now work out 3 times a week. It is an uphill struggle, Steve.
Yeah, of course.
It's just,
so you're just keeping it an even keel.
I know, well, yeah. So I can live longer to eat more cheese and beer.
Do you exercise, Carl? Do you do any exercise whatsoever?
I used to go to a gym in town, but it wasn't the sort of, the hard work of doing the, the stuff. It was just like, it was like 60 quid a month.
Yeah.
I thought, well,
crazy, isn't it?
That's not good. So I just got out of my way to sort of walk everywhere. Do you know what I mean? Instead of jumping on a bus, like a nice day like today, walk into work. Or, run up the stairs.
You're skinny though.
Do you run up the stairs?
What? You're really skinny though.
No, but I do eat a lot of, like, crappy food, so I reckon, I mean, what did they say? When you get to 30, it all just, you go mental, don't you?
Yeah, they say that, play record. That's the philosophers, isn't it? When you get to 30, you go mental.
No, Descartes.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Play record.
Better Bowie?
Oh, yeah, I brought this in. You'll love this, Steve. Oh, you know this, I think, I'm sure. This is, a great Bowie track off Aladdin Sane, one of my favourite albums. And this is Lady Grinning Soul. It's beautiful. Badly Drawn Boy, Silent Sigh on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais. You can do your own.
Oh, right, okay, my name's Steve Merchant.
Yeah, Carl.
I'm Carl.
Yeah, exactly.
You've not lost interest, have you, Rick?
No, of course I haven't.
Okay. Go on.
It's silly to, I've said it once, I was a bit bored with just saying your names.
Okay.
I don't mind saying mine, because I'm sort of interested in that.
Yeah, sure.
But the other ones are sort of more of a chore. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing in it for me.
Yes, there's no actual
I'd rather not mention either of you.
Okay.
So, if you want to do it, from now on.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. Okay. Well, listen, obviously, still got plenty to come. We've obviously got some great music, Rick, and that's
I've got, a bit of Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. Actually, an album you introduced me to, and I'm gonna play, Into My Arms.
Looking forward
and
to
you know how beautiful that song is.
That's true enough.
Yeah.
But, I was talking about this little bit of acting I was doing yesterday, and, not wishing to be disrespectful to anyone that was involved, but there was, obviously some extras or supporting artists, as I believe they're known, and, you know, all good, lovely people, really putting the effort in, doing good work and everything, but there's just one guy I stood next to, and, you know, he's quite a tall guy, not quite as tall as me, but tall guy, you know, quite a good looking bloke or whatever, and, I just sat there, and he obviously gets quite boring, because there's a lot of just hanging around and people waiting and stuff, fixing lights. I just stood next to him, and he just went, oh, he was looking for something to say to me, obviously, and he went, looking forward to the new Guns N' Roses album? And I went, I didn't realise there was one on the way, actually. He went, yeah, obviously they, Slash won't be in it, because obviously Slash is no longer with them, but, bloody hell, Sweet Child of Mine, one of my favourites, just started singing some of the songs. I went, okay, great.
Without irony, I assume.
Without irony. He was just wanting to get onto the discussion of Guns N' Roses, but I'll tell you this, he did not look like a rocker in any way. He looked like a bloke who would work in sort of an accountancy, agency, or Barclays, behind the counter, something like that. Very well scrubbed, well groomed.
I was say, there's nothing wrong with Barclays or the people who work therein.
That's true enough.
Okay.
So he goes, yeah, I mean, I got into them with Appetite for Destruction, the classic first album, but I even, you know, I enjoyed the Spaghetti Incident as well. I mean, I like all of them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, right, okay. And he goes, I said to him, you ever seen them live or anything? He went, I have not seen them live, no, but I was lucky enough to be at Donington, Monsters of Rock, and, Slash's Snake Pit was playing, which was Slash's solo effort.
Yeah.
And he went, I've never been to, those live gigs before, and, I was down in the mosh pit. Oh, man, and I was down there, and I'll tell you this, have you been in the mosh pit? I went, I'm like, oh, it's crazy down there. It's wild. A guy threw a punch at me, I punched him, knocked him straight out. He knocked me out, so this fight went off. Oh, it was amazing, I went, you're gonna go back? He went, no, I won't, because once you've done something like that, you can never repeat the experience, you know, I mean, everyone there was dressed in black. I think I was the only guy wearing a white t-shirt. I was like, okay, I could just imagine him tucked in as well.
That's why I attacked him. Exactly. It's like ants.
Yeah.
They
Slash himself, so
yeah, there's a termite in the nest.
Exactly.
And they just turned on him.
But so I'm going, okay, so do you go to gigs often? He went, no, I don't think I'm ever gonna go to another rock gig. And I said to him, why? And he went, I don't think any gig I go to will be able to top the experience of seeing UB40 live. And do you know what I mean? And I almost did what you did.
That's why I've never seen him live, because I don't want to end my life.
But I almost laughed. I thought it was a joke. I thought he was making a joke, and I was about to laugh, and I realised he was deadly serious, and I went,
UB40.
Oh, good were they? He went, absolutely blinding. One of the most incredible live experiences I've ever seen.
I imagine. Did they
remarkable.
do songs in a sort of mock reggae style?
Apparently
for
they
2 hours.
And then he began to tell me which of his favourite, he went, I don't know if, I said, have they done anything recently, or put anything out? He went, I don't think they're gonna be able to top, those classic albums, Bag of Riddim, and Rat in the Kitchen. I
remember once when I went to sign on, okay, and I don't know what year it was, must have been like 1979 or something, and, I left school, and, tell me if I'm wrong if it wasn't out then, but this bloke was at the back with sort of like a ghetto blaster, and he was playing 1 in 10.
Right.
Obviously making a point, he was in the dole office. Everyone ignored him, and when it finished playing, he turned it down. And he took a number and cue.
The days when they were a protest.
When was that? What year was that? What year did someone can pinpoint that for me. Phone in. 08700 800 1234. I know it had just come out.
But what was amazing is when he said that about UB40 being the best live experience I've ever seen, it was one of those moments where you thought, I never thought I'd hear someone say that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know why I can't understand what kind of person you are. I suddenly realised at that moment there was such a chasm between us.
Is there anyone out there whose favourite band is UB40? Red Wine, maybe. UB40, yeah. Oh, they're a great bunch of blokes though. You see them, they crack me up when I see them interviewed. They're really funny. But, once you've heard one, that's pretty much it, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I imagine. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm a Philistine.
Maybe there's some hidden depths to them that we don't understand. Maybe some great tracks that you could point out if you're a big fan.
Well, I'm never gonna go and see him because why why sort of like top your experiences?
Exactly.
You know?
Because you never get better it.
When I know I'm definitely dying, I'm gonna go.
You'll summon them to play for you.
Get me
Labour of Love live.
Do Right in the Kitchen. now.
This is a little bit of a treat that I thought I would charm you with, Rick. From The Cure's Greatest Hits. This was this double CD that they brought out recently, including 18 acoustic versions of their greatest hits.
Yeah.
And this is the acoustic version.
What have you gone for?
I've gone for, glad you've asked, Just Like Heaven.
Wise choice. XFM 104.9. Lovely, that one.
Brilliant, isn't it? The acoustic version of Just Like Heaven from The Cure's double CD
I'm
Greatest
loving it,
Hits
loving it.
collection.
Now, again, I broke the rules in the week. I met up with Karl. I had lunch with him. And, we were chatting, and having a cup of tea. And it got onto one of Karl's favourite programmes, was the Tales of the Unexpected.
Ah, of course.
And all I can think is that he's probably the only person in Britain where they were unexpected. I mean, to him, when that twist came in, and he'd go, gee, I can't...
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Can't believe
So it was the tree that did it. I mean, he was probably the only... And we were telling all these stories of horror, and he liked horror stories. And I told him this story, and I don't know if this had come across the radio, but I told him this story. It was a short. It was a horror short.
This was a film you saw, was it?
Yeah, yeah. And, what it was, it started off just there'd been a car crash. You see, it's a horrendous wreck. And you saw it from the point of view of the person in the car. And he was calling for his mate, and he was going, Dave. And he sort of looked over and saw a body without a head that had been thrown at. He goes, oh no, Dave. And then into the field of view came Dave, his mate, and looked at him with a look of horror, and then it sort of went black, and you realised that he was just a head, and it had been his body.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Yeah.
And I said, then it came up at the end, at the, executions in the French Revolution, people experience consciousness for, you know, and he went, oh, no, he said, it wouldn't be for that long. And then he went, if it was a chicken, it would work. Imagine remaking that film, but it's two chickens in horrendous car crash.
Their own fault for driving.
It would work. No, he wasn't having that.
Yeah.
No, it was too long. I think he said, how long was this film? Went, oh no, 5 minutes. He went, no. It would work if it was a chicken.
I like the way that Karl, in something like, when you relate an incident like that, he's appalled and offended and annoyed by the people that made it, even though he's never seen it.
Oh, he's annoyed, yeah. Like,
I want to see it. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
But they should have thought it through a bit more.
Yeah. Do you have a favourite, Tales of the Unexpected, one that you remember particularly that shook you up?
Yeah, we were talking about the one on, where, there's some woman in prison. Have you seen that one?
No, I can't remember them all.
Right. This woman's in prison.
Yeah.
And, she gets a bit friendly with the guy who takes the dead bodies out.
Right.
And, he said, I can get you out of here. He said, what you got to do, right? You've got to, I don't know, at midnight.
When you hear the bell toll, that means there's been a dead body.
Yeah, there's been a dead body. So what you got to do is go into, like, the, place where all the dead bodies are. Get in the first coffin on the right. And then I'll come along and carry you out, and you can run away and escape.
Yeah.
Right? So she goes, yeah, alright then. So she hears the bell go.
I'll bury you, right? And then I'll come back later and dig you up.
Right.
Yeah, but
that's the point.
It doesn't matter.
It does matter. Trust me, Karl, it really matters.
Okay.
Listen, I don't know if I'm going to ruin this for people at home.
Yeah.
Can I just skip to the end? I would imagine that she gets buried and he doesn't come back, and she has to get buried alive.
Better than that.
Okay.
Yeah, she does it. She gets into the coffin.
Yeah, shh.
Go on.
Right. So she gets in the coffin. And, she's lying there for ages.
She's buried.
She can feel a bit of movement going on, so she's obviously, you know, being carried somewhere, so she's thinking, this is it, I'm getting out. And, she's lying there for ages and thinking, why isn't someone coming and lifting the lid off this? Do you know what I mean? Letting me get out. So she's really bored. She gets a lighter out, right? Lights it to have a look at who she's lying on. It's only the fella who said he'd help escape.
Oh.
How bad is that?
That is... How bad is that?
So it is quite important that she's buried alive then, isn't it? In retrospect, you realise that the jeopardy is that she is buried alive and can't get out. Yeah. Makes it so much worse, doesn't it, than just like lying in the morgue and going, actually, I'm getting out of here.
Yeah.
This isn't gonna work.
Look at Karl's face, having told that, he's so pleased. His face is lit up, he's beaming like a child.
Have you seen any?
Is that your favourite horror thing ever?
That's a good one. And,
let's see if anyone knows what the finger is. When that bloke was under the ground, wiggling his finger.
We were talking about one with, some fella who's stuck in the ground or something.
This is a motif I noticed in your particular favourite ones.
Yeah. Right?
People stuck in the ground. Go on.
Right, so
It's a fella, is it?
Yeah, a fella stuck. Now, I seem to remember it just being his foot, to be honest, being stuck in a hole. And
No, he was under the ground and he got a little thing out of the pavement and he put his finger up and wiggled it to try and attract attention. Then you see a woman come along and her stiletto heel just knocks his finger off.
You see, I'm wondering whether it's the same one as I saw.
Yeah, it could be two like that, couldn't there? It's a
They were running out of ideas by the last series.
it's a big theme in Hollywood.
Or, what was that one you told me about with the porn? That was a good one.
Oh, this was fantastic, right? Right. There was this,
Sorry, can I just check now? We're just remembering classic episodes of the Tales of
No, this is important. Well, I saw one, right? I saw one, on Tales of the Inspector, right? And it was, these two gents, what they used to do, they look down the obituaries, and they'd blackmail, the wife or the son of a dead eminent person, like might be a priest or a doctor, like that, and they'd go and they'd say, he bought some, erotic, stuff from us, before he died, and he owes, 100 guineas and all this sort of stuff, and they'd pay up because it'd be so embarrassing, they just didn't want them to say, just pay him, right? And this one bloke said, who are these people? I'll meet with them. And he goes round there, and he goes round, and, they go, your father, he goes, my father could not have bought any erotic material from you. They did it, he goes, he couldn't have, he's blind. Right, and that was the twist. And Karl went, so it was magazines, not videos then.
Yeah. Now think about it, Steve. Is that so stupid?
Well, presumably it was set in olden times because people, professional pornographers don't tend to call it, you know, erotic material.
Yeah.
They tend to call it, you know, juicy jugs or whatever. But more than that, I don't understand how a video is going to be any use to a blind person either. I know that you can hear the sound, Karl. Look at him nodding like he's caught me out.
Yeah, what sound were you hear? Your meter needs looking at? Yes. Cut. What's then? What's that? Then it's just noises, isn't it?
Occasional groans.
Yeah.
Right.
You could listen through the wall at your neighbours.
He does.
I mean, that's why I save a lot of money. But I thought you were going to point out, Karl, that they could have had a Braille porno. Now, have you thought of that?
Look, feel the lumps on that.
Exactly. Think about it, Karl.
Think about it.
You're excited now.
Yeah.
Your girlfriend's away, Karl.
Yeah, the cheese grate has only entered the cupboard.
No, she's a good-looking lady.
Oh.
Next, we've got White Van Karl.
Oh, excellent. Star Sailor, poor, misguided fool. Well, it's time. Well,
go on.
That time, innit?
Yeah. Play the jingle.
Yeah. White Van Man, Karl.
Brilliant. Recorded at great expense, that jingle.
Yeah.
This is where we just hijack an idea from The Sun, which is White Van Man, where The Sun asks, in this instance, a cabbie by the look of it. Oh no, a fruit and veg shop owner.
Ours is slightly different because The Sun sort of like, pick on a perfectly normal member of the public.
Exactly.
So that's where we've got the
upper hand.
Yeah.
And, they ask him about the, you know, the hot potatoes. This week, Karl, my first question to you, well, your thoughts, please, on the criticism of the BBC over their coverage of the Queen Mum's death. What do you make of this? You're aware of all the criticism that Peter Sissons asked some probing questions?
No, I thought it
wore a burgundy tie.
I thought, that's it, yeah, he just had it didn't show respect, he just had a burgundy tie on.
See, that's not really not showing respect, is it?
No, it's not.
You know, you show your respect by sort of doing the news on it, giving her a bit of coverage, and showing, you know, what
publicity.
What a good woman she was or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you move on to sport news or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I totally agree.
I don't like the way everything's morbid. I was thinking about it. It's like, you know, the way in birthday cards and that, people always put funny things in them. I think you should save things like that for funerals, for like funeral cards and that, and try and cheer people up at times when they're low. Do you know what I mean? Because on your birthday you're quite happy anyway, so you don't need someone putting a funny comment in a card. I think, you know, when you send a card.
What would you suggest?
Well, you know,
whoopee cushion, but on the vicar's chair. How would you liven up the funeral?
Just little things in the card. I mean, just writing stuff like, well, you know, at least you're still alive, or whatever.
So as you're giving the eulogy.
That'd be good. So suppose, you know, someone's husband's killed in a car crash, you go around with some flowers and a little card, and it says, at least you're still alive.
Well, maybe something funnier than that.
Well, maybe, like, if you got up to give the eulogy during a funeral, just wear a pair of comedy tits.
Yeah, or those glasses that are eyes on sort of springs.
But why has everyone got to be so sad about someone dying?
No, what annoys me is that when you see the people on television, these sort of members of the public, and they're crying about the Queen Mother, who was sad when anyone dies, sad when anyone nan dies. She was 102, and what, you know, I mean, it's sort of like, I think they should cry.
Well, there's a picture in the paper today.
I don't understand it.
There's a picture in the paper today of various people who were lining the the funeral kind of route yesterday, and there's a picture of a very young child, maybe sort of 5 or 6, on the arms of her dad, and her head bowed, and it says a young girl there weeps for the Queen Mother. And I was looking at it, and you can tell she's just tired. Well, she's just tired and bored. It's so transparent that it's not crying. It's
most
just, what are we doing
when their nan dies?
Exactly.
You know, it's sort of like.
But what is a 5-year-old girl gonna be? Why is she gonna be crying? The Queen Mum said, "Oh, I can't believe it."
Yeah.
Teletubbies? No. The Queen Mum. Oh, not the tweenies. No, it's in a minute.
Yeah.
It's just like.
Oh dear.
I mean, I know. I'm sure. I don't know much about her. I don't know if she was a great woman, and obviously, it's always sad when someone dies. But it's like, it's interesting that there was a lot of tourists in that long line of people that are now queuing from hours upon hours to see her dying in state, because it's clearly just people who want to be a part of history.
Must be gutting if you're over from Sweden and you find out that, the Queen Mum's died.
Oh, you must be devastated.
You probably don't want to carry on with your visit.
Exactly.
Really.
Okay, listen, Carl,
I think we've covered that.
what do you make of the, what do you make of the first genetically modified baby?
Oh.
Are you worried about this?
Do you know what did they do? What?
Let me see what it says here. It says,
isn't it just choosing the, eye colour?
Well, this is the concern, isn't it? That in the future you'll be able to decide whether it's a boy or a girl, how intelligent it is, what it looks like, is it handsome, is it ugly? Obviously, no one will choose an ugly baby, and so on and so on and so on. And so it means that where will it lead? Where will it end, Carl? Are you concerned?
I've thought about this a lot.
What will us three look like in the future if they're being, genetically modified, beautiful people? What will we be like? How will we be considered in society?
Yeah. But we've talked about this before, haven't we? About the cloning thing.
Yeah.
That's a bit weird.
Yeah.
But I don't think it matters, because at the end of the day, right, you might look like some other kid, but it's the way you're brought up that will change your features and the way you are, your personality.
If you lie, you get a long nose, don't you?
Well, no, but listen, right, because I remember when we, I was growing up on this estate.
This is gonna be good. Go on.
No, it's not. It's just an example of how this doesn't work.
Go on.
So we don't need to worry, sort of thing.
Sure.
Right?
Okay.
So I'm growing up on this estate, and there was this woman about 4 houses down, right, who's a bit rough. Alright?
Didn't fancy her.
Oh, God, no. Right, but she had a baby.
Well, tell me about her first. I'm interested in this woman. Why was she?
It was a very...
like being a man in a dress.
I mean, I didn't grow up in a posh house or anything, and I'm not saying that if you live in a bit of a rough house, you're a bad person.
What did she look like?
But anyone can
Tattoos?
clean up.
Looked like Tony Green with a fag on.
They didn't clean up much, right?
Oh.
Which, even if you've not got a lot of money, you can still try and make a place look nice.
Yeah.
Right? But she didn't, and a kid used to take a horse into the house.
Sorry.
Whoa,
Whoa, Neddy. What do you mean a kid used to take a horse into the house? Where did he get a horse?
Must have nicked it from somewhere. Must have done.
You've seen a horse in it? No.
What, is that from outside the saloon round the corner?
Yeah, was it just tied up with a bit of...
Right?
Oh, that's great. Did Big Jake come looking for it?
I'd been out.
Oh. Right, so let me get this. This was before the lynching stopped or after.
Where did he get a horse from? What do you mean he must have nicked it? His mum said, where'd you get that from? I bought it. Alright then. But keep it out of the kitchen.
I don't want you going Catlin rustling.
Where did he get a horse from, Carl? And how long did he have it for? Was he leading it or riding it? Mum, open the door, I can't stop!
I can't stop it! Open the patio door as well,
Looks like we got us a runaway! What do you mean?
I don't know, but the thing is, they couldn't afford to buy one because they're not cheap. So I'm just guessing. Maybe that's wrong of me. But I think...
He had a horse?
Yeah, right, so...
That's why the family didn't have any money, they'd spend it on the horse.
No, I don't think, that's what I'm saying, I don't think they would have bought it. So anyway...
Yeah, it's wise to whisper, Carl, in case they're listening.
Yeah, and
they could be in the room next door.
It's not buying it, it's keeping it as well. Oh,
so I was like in the car with my dad coming into the avenue, and you used to have to drive down it to turn round and and sort of go back to our house. You
had the traditional method of transport. Yeah.
And the horse was in the lounge.
Reading a paper.
Just like walking around.
Oh God! What?
And when I was doing, I tried to earn myself some money once by flogging little flowers in plastic cups.
What? This is genius. It just keeps coming. What do you mean you're trying to flog little flowers? What do you mean?
Wait. Let's play a record. Let's play a record and come back to this, because the story's gonna just unravel and unravel. It's gonna go on for hours. Let's play a track, Carl.
It gets deeper and deeper. It's like an onion, isn't it?
We've created a whole world here where there's a man living with a horse.
Just walking around the lounge.
I mean, I come from the West Country, I've never heard anything like that.
I just think of a big sort of like orange carpet, and it's got a rediffusion telly, and this horse going, I'm fed up in here.
Exactly.
This is really...
I am not taking the rubbish out again.
Yeah.
Right, play a record. Let's have Velvet Underground. We got that lined up.
Oh,
yeah, the classic from the first album. I'm Waiting for the Man. Let's come back to the horse in a second.
Little flowers in pots. What do you mean?
Classic first album, Velvet Underground and Nico, which apparently peaked at a disappointing 171 in the US charts.
Think of that.
And that's obviously Lou Reed, the Velvet Underground, and Waiting for the Man.
Yeah, great track. So we were talking. We were doing White Van Man, and we got onto
genetically modified babies, but
and
somehow
then Carl started telling a story about someone with a horse, and then he got onto he was trying to make money selling flowers. Just do the flowers briefly.
Well, hang on, I just want to recap slightly. So there was a family, and who had the horse in the family?
It was...
Because you lived on an estate in Manchester.
So the mother was a right pig, apparently.
Well,
I don't know if that's relevant.
You don't need to go that far.
But
what I'm trying to do is, like, make a picture for you so you understand.
What a picture it is. Who did she look like?
Bit of a, and no disrespect to her, bit like Pauline Quirk.
Quirky, yeah.
Right?
Okay. I knew you were going to say that. Yeah. I knew it was going to be Pauline. Did she have any tats?
I've never got that close to her.
Okay, alright.
So who had the horse? Was this her son or her husband?
No, her daughter.
Her daughter had stolen a horse?
Yeah, from, I don't know where, there was I think it was some stables down the road or something.
And they kept the horse in the house with them?
They kept it in the house.
Did they
didn't
get
have
caught?
it for long.
No.
So, and you said you were in the house one day and you saw the horse in there?
What happened was, I was, they did this thing at school about raising money for charity, right? For some local charity. And they said you can do anything to raise money, and they came out with all these ideas, and I thought, that's good.
What was the charity?
Well, I don't know, I thought, forget the charity.
Yeah, that's just a good money-making idea. So, you're a charity.
So, so I asked me mum for some, cause she used to have a lot of flowers around the house.
Sure.
I said, can I just take some snippings off them? And, I'll go and buy some plastic cups. And, got some soil out of the garden, planted the bits of plants in them.
Yeah.
Got a tray.
Yeah.
Had about 25 plants on it, selling them for 25 pence each.
Excellent. Did you sell any?
Yeah, so loads.
So did you just cut, you didn't just cut them and stick them in the soil?
Yeah, they wouldn't have survived.
Oh.
But I think people sort of thought, well, good on him for trying. But anyway, so I went round to theirs, because I thought their house could do with a bit of colour and stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's a bit rough. So, as I went...
The horse went, thank God for that breakfast. They've been feeding me kitty cat.
So I got up to the door, and they opened the door, and it was one of them houses where no carpet.
Yeah, a horse in the living room.
You know.
We've all been there.
And the horse was walking around the living room.
Oh.
I looked quite happy and everything, because I always say that about animals.
Black Beauty was on. Yeah.
Well, think about it, right? If you were a horse, where would you rather be? In a little wooden hut with a load of hay? Or in like a house with a,
central heating?
3-piece suite and a telly and that?
Telly and that?
No, but I was saying this the other day.
And an Atari.
Right? I was walking through London the other
Commodore
day.
64, rubbish.
Exactly.
Walking through London with Suzanne, right?
Yeah.
And you know, like homeless people always have dogs. And she said, oh, I hope she looks after it. I said, that dog is happier than most dogs.
Right.
Because people always walk past and give it a pat on the head.
Yeah.
It's with its owner all the time.
Yeah.
It's out in the open, it's not locked up in a house.
Yeah.
It doesn't
You know what I
eat,
mean?
but other than that.
No, it does eat though, they're always alright. So that's what I was saying, I think this horse was doing alright for itself. Do you know?
Well, not many horses have got their own house.
Exactly.
For a start, yeah.
But anyway, that's what
by
we
the
were talking
by.
about. Yeah, so anyway, this family, it was a bit, what we were talking about, it was about cloning.
Genetically modified kids and all that stuff, yeah.
Right, now what I'm saying is, you could say, you know, right, Steve, you could have a baby, right? And Ricky could see it and say, God, I want one that looks like that.
Yeah.
Right?
It could happen, Rick.
So...
Come on, work with him.
So you take it to the doctors, and I don't know what they do, they inject it with something or whatever.
Yep, that's how it's done.
Yeah.
And, get a little baby, and there it is, it looks the same. Now the thing is, you separate, you both go off and do your own things.
Yep.
Right? Now, you look at Stephen, you look after your baby.
Yeah.
You treat it well, you give it good food and
I'm a good dad.
all the vitamins and stuff.
Yeah.
Ricky just gives it cheese. Right? So, then it changes its looks, it goes a bit fat. You know, it gets tired easily, and that sort of thing. Now, when this family...
Why am I just feeding a baby cheese?
Right, this family who had a horse in their house.
Yeah.
They had a little baby. And my man went round and said, "You're not going to believe this, but it's a beautiful looking baby." Right?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, you know. And the weird thing is, it was a good looking kid, but as time went on, they didn't really look after it. And I'm not saying like abusing it, but it used to run around, it used to play out till like 10 at night.
Yeah.
It used to chase cars.
Right.
It was a bit...
Did it have hooves?
Yeah, no. Chase cars!
Right.
What sort of kid chases cars? Oh, God.
No.
Was it called Rover?
The weird
Did it catch sticks?
It's Liam, it was called, right?
Right.
Now, the weird thing is, it was a good looking kid, but as time went on, and all that, like, not eating properly and its hair was all patchy.
It's not Liam Gallagher, is it?
And chasing cars and that, and it became an ugly kid.
It's definitely Liam Gallagher.
And that's what I'm saying, right? You can clone all you like, but at the end of the day, it's how you brought up.
Brilliant.
Wow.
Whoa.
Life.
Wow.
That was a hell of a point.
Oh, God.
But am I right?
You're always right, Carl.
Finally, White Van Man, what do you make of the fact that Sainsbury's are bringing in square tins? Is that a concern for you?
Is that true?
Apparently so.
Why?
Don't
It's
know.
like it's easy to stack.
This is what the guy in the Sun has said. That should be interesting for... That should be... His comment on Sainsbury's are bringing in square tins is that should be interesting for meatballs. Ricky's just collapsed on the floor. Let's just play a song, Carl. I don't think even you can top that.
Black Rebel March Out of Club. Whatever happened to my rock and roll? Well, near the end of the show, just time for the re-education of Carl revisited. Still got Nick Cave to come, haven't we?
Absolutely.
Now, Carl, you read a quote book. What did you learn from it? Tell us some pearls of wisdom. Just keep it down to one or two, your favourite things and why you like them.
Right, well, you said just pick a couple.
Yeah.
Right? So I wrote a couple down last night. And what I did, so they weren't boring, right? I've sort of...
I don't think you can ever be boring, but go on.
But what I've done, I've took like different ones. So I've took a good one that I think, that's a good quote, that was worth putting in a book. I put one that isn't really a quote, so I don't understand it.
Oh, yeah.
One that isn't clever. and a funny one. So a bit of variation all out of one book.
Oh, how long did this take you? What did you do? Did you sort of like sit?
About half an hour last night.
And did you sit sort of like quietly at a desk or something?
No, just in the lounge with the telly turned down.
Oh, right.
Just to give a bit of light to the room. Just had it on but turned down.
Have you figured out lights yet?
So, so the first one, never heard of him. This guy called Dean Axon.
Right.
And this is a good one. He said, the memo is written not to inform the reader, but to protect the writer.
That's good, yeah.
Stuff, that's very good.
That's it, that's...
It relates a lot to, you know, office life and so on.
Yeah, modern world and that. Right, so then, thought, so I wrote that down because I liked it, and that's what he said to do. Second one, isn't really a quote, it's more of a poem.
Okay.
So how does that work?
Well, that's okay.
Just read it.
Right, well, it's about suicide.
Okay.
Right? Razors pain you, rivers are damp, acids stain you, drugs cause cramp. Guns aren't lawful, nooses give, gas smells awful, so you might as well live.
Lovely.
Is that from Dorothy Parker?
I'll tell you what.
It is, yeah.
I hate it. I hate that.
Why?
It's nothing to me, that.
I think
it's just a sort of weak, shallow piece of mock comedy.
This is why I did it in that order, because that's what I thought.
It's sort of like a zany vicar would write from living in Frome when he's about 55 and get it published in I hate it.
Alright, so you're saying you're not a fan of Dorothy Parker's work, right?
Right.
Now the next one, Oscar Wilde.
Yeah.
Right, he's known, isn't he?
Yes.
Look what he comes up with. All art is quite useless.
Well, what's up with that?
Well, it isn't added art.
No, I know, but it's... Go on, next.
But how has art helped you? How has it been useful to you?
It was a bit of it's one of the only things I like doing at school.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? When I made that little clay man, fixing a car.
Yeah.
You made a clay man fixing a car, I forgot about that.
How can he... I think that's stupid. And especially that it's gone in a book.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
It's easy to diss things.
Yeah, it's harder to do things like, you're right.
I don't think art is useless, by the way. But then you don't have to agree or disagree with some of these things. Some of them are, you know, sometimes it's just their thoughts put eloquently or poetically, isn't it? And it's just, you know,
to provoke a reaction as much as anything.
Yeah.
Well, and the good one, Ozzy Osbourne.
I mean, sorry, but just go back there. The irony is that is art. That he was an artist, wasn't he? So.
But okay, so you don't like Oscar Wilde, but you prefer Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah, go on.
Ozzy Osbourne, cracking one this. Funny and educational. I bit a head off a bat the other night. It was like eating a crunchy wrapped in a chamois leather.
Genius.
Oh, you're right, Carl.
Yeah.
So, there's...
What do you like about that? The way he's described what it is like?
I think, yeah, if someone... I mean, you can imagine what it's like. Because I like crunchies.
Yeah.
And,
it's like
and a chamois leather's really chewy, so you can imagine that's like the skin.
So you like his descriptive writing?
The crunchy bit is like the bones and that.
Yeah.
Perfect.
But you know, Carl, it's interesting because you've analysed Ozzy there, and in a way, that is the first step on maybe doing a new English GCSE.
Yeah,
you know, being able to study
you said
language
why you
and
liked
understand
it.
and...
You said because it describes what you've never eaten about yourself.
Yeah, but my teacher, Mrs. Kane, if I would have come into school with, you know, a quote by Ozzy Osbourne, she wouldn't have been happy.
Really?
Do you know what I mean? And that's the difference between...
She'd go, right, Carl, get your horse and go home.
Well, listen though, we were talking about other quotes.
Yeah.
Neil Armstrong.
Yeah.
Do you know his one?
Yeah.
What, one giant leap for mankind?
Do you know it wasn't meant to be that? You know, it says, it's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind, right?
Yep.
It was meant to be, this is one small step for a man.
Right.
I.e. me, the individual, on a microcosmic level, one giant leap for mankind. And he mucked it up, because if you say, this is one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind, man there means mankind.
I know, it's embarrassing.
So you shouldn't give people, he's not a trained actor.
That's true.
He's more of an astronaut, to be honest.
Has he won any awards, Rick?
No, there are no awards. Is he BAFTA nominated? Don't think so.
But listen, right, he said another quote as he got back into the rocket. Have you heard about it?
Go on.
Well, we run out of time, and I'm just wondering whether it's worth saving as a bit of a teaser for next week.
What did Neil Armstrong say as he got back into the rocket?
Yeah.
Is it gonna be
away?
Something like, that was boring, wasn't it? The mic's not still on, is it?
Yeah.
They're not still listening.
Well, that's what I was saying to you. He could have said that, and it would have still gone down.
Cheese.
It would have still gone down as an amazing quote, wouldn't it?
Well, listen, I think you should save it, Carl.
So I was meant to go first.
No, I'll tell you what we'll do, Carl. We'll squeeze it in before the end of the show, because Ricky, you got to play your song for the lovers.
Oh,
you should play this.
I don't think we'll fit it in. We might have to save it.
Don't worry, we'll see what we can do.
Well, next week, by the way, you've got happiness quotations, a collection of thoughtful words and beautiful paintings. I'll just give you an example of one. Happiness is a perfume you can pour on others you cannot pour on others without getting a few drops on yourself. It's lovely that, isn't it?
Brilliant.
You can't be happy with that. This is Nick Cave and the Bad Seed, from the Boatman's Call. It's a beautiful song. Any song that starts off, I don't believe in an interventionist God is alright by me. And this is Into My Arms. Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, Into My Arms. Well, that's it. We've run out of time.
We have indeed.
So no time for, Carl's quote. That'll have to come next week.
Yeah, we'll save that for next time.
Armstrong. Well, I hope you, enjoyed it. Goodbye.
Alright, Rick, come on, I'm sounding a bit chirpier, it's not that depressing.
Well, yeah.
Sports next. You know how excited you are?
Go on.
You love the sport, do you?
New Order, and here to stay on XFM 104.9. Well, we're here to stay, aren't we, Steve?
True enough.
Well, for another 4 weeks anyway, then we're off. Then
That's
4 more
right.
shows. They'll have to order a new DJ. Alright?
That was genius.
Hey?
Oh, wow,
I'm
it's
Ricky,
as simple as that.
I'm Ricky Gervais, Steve Mitchell, and Karl Pilkington.
Oh, man.
Did anyone, read the, Guardian yesterday? It was Steve's big we were interviewed together.
I've never been interviewed before in the paper. I've certainly never had my photo in a national
We were very
paper
excited. We loved the interview. It was talking about our top 10 albums between us. We loved it. We talked really fast, like school kids. We were excited. It was a great interview, and all the way through, it was Ricky Gervais with his writing partner, Steve Mitchell.
Stephen Mitchell. It's
He
not
was
even
gutted.
Night Merchant.
He phoned me up the night before and he was gutted, and I know it's awful. And it was big letters and just all the way through, and the caption, and it's just like, oh, God.
But it's embarrassing, do you know what I mean? It's embarrassing because it's like I was trying to get in the paper, I couldn't believe my luck. And then that just draws attention to the fact that I'm not a celebrity, and consequently they can't even remember my name.
But the worst thing was that, one of my favourite albums of all time, I said in there, was, Blood on the Tracks by Bob Dylan. And I said, because, you know, I think one of the most beautiful songs ever is If You See Her, Say Hello. And of course these people were sort of transcribing it from, you know, a dictaphone. It came out, my favourite song of all time was If You See a Sailor.
If you see a sailor. Oh, hello.
If you
fruity.
Oh, Bob Drillboyd's, up on the trap with, where's the sailor gone to? With Ricky Gervais and Stephen Mitchellings. Oh.
I don't know, they must have thought my name was Mitchell all along. They obviously never knew.
The evidence is there.
But I don't know why, it was like they reported in the paper that we'd been nominated for a Sony, and it said, Ricky Gervais, who hosts the breakfast show on XFM, and it's that sort of, it's just guessing. It's like, presumably someone's gone, does he host the breakfast show? Someone's gone, yeah. And that's their research done.
Yeah. But there was a thing about, The Office set in Swindon. That's someone going, just write an article about The Office. Where's it set? Swindon, I think. Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, that'll do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even we research the show now and again, don't we?
Yeah.
Even we look things up. Well, actually, people phone in. Usually that fella. What's that fella's name that calls in who's not got the website? It's got a funny name.
Oh.
Gilwell or something.
James.
Phone in if you remember what his name is.
Yeah.
James at Lose Control.
Yeah, what's his surname though?
Oh, for goodness sake, this is just gonna be interesting to him.
Yeah.
And his friends.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You remember?
We better play another record.
Yes.
I'll tell you what, if
Johnny
you like
Mango.
Mango, that's it, yeah. Now, if you like Elvis Costello's Alison, or maybe
Rick,
Freeze, My Brother Jake,
One of my favourites.
stay tuned. Badly Drawn Boy, Silent Sigh,
Cracking tune, that.
XFM 104.9. Maybe there'll be a few Silent Sighs around London on the 4th of May when, that's it, we're off the air for 3 months.
Yeah. Wow, you're really getting into the DJ patter today.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
It's
only taken, what is it, 5 years?
Yeah.
Now you're finally as good as Foxy.
Coming up,
Yes.
that anecdote that Carl didn't get to last week about Neil Armstrong.
Right.
I can't wait. It's because he took 3 links telling us about the horse.
Yes, of course.
The horse! Think of that.
Wow.
I went out with Carl on Thursday night.
Right.
Right? It was one of the most enjoyable nights. We just, went out for about, 5 or 6 pints, a little crawl, and adventures happened around Carl.
Yeah.
And just me sitting talking to him was just incredible. I'm thinking that a competition would be win a pint with Carl.
Yes. That'd be a hell
they
of a
just
gig.
have to go for a pint and they can ask him anything they want.
Yeah.
He's just great. We met my friend, didn't we? Tell him all about that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? What?
Did you enjoy it as much as Ricky, Carl?
Yeah, there was things I learned as well, like, which was good.
Okay.
You know his mate Robin, don't you?
Yeah, yeah. You'll discuss that later.
I'll tell you later about.
He's got all his near-death experiences to come. Win a pint, and of course, coming up, Carl's homework was, the quotes, and Carl's come up with a great idea to show that anyone can do quotes. He's invented a thing like faking it, where he's got 2 real quotes.
Right.
And he's made one up.
Okay.
And he's gonna fool us. I bet we won't be able to.
Brilliant. Sorry, what was the challenge last
Look at him looking at us. What's the matter with you?
It's just that before, you were like, no, this is good for you. But now it's turned into a game.
At your expense?
Yeah.
Have you only just dawned on you?
Carl, well, I'm joking. It's great, honestly. It's really good.
What was the Carl challenge last week? You said I thought we did the quotes last week.
No, but, I gave him a,
happiness.
Happiness. It's all about happiness
Right.
and what the pursuit of happiness. And it's in sort of like quote form and everything. But, Carl's gonna do a couple of ones and faking it just to show, I mean, cause he's been coming up with fables all week as well now. He comes up with something, he goes, that's a fable, isn't it? And he tells me so he's getting good. Now.
To it all. If you play another track, what have you got something fresh?
I brought in, I saw, Elvis Costello and Jonathan Ross a couple of weeks ago, and he did just an acoustic version of Alison, and I forgot what an amazing song it is. And it's just, he's fantastic. He's the man. Listen to this guitar sound. It's so beautiful. My aim is true. To provide quality entertainment of a Saturday. That was Elvis Costello and his attractions and Alison on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais.
Steve Mitchell here and Karl Pilkington.
Oh,
it's going alright, it's going alright. I obviously been doing some acting, as you know, I mentioned it last week, doing this sort of comedy pilot. This week, Karl, you're gonna be loving this. I've been doing stunts. I swear to God, I've been doing my own stunts with the guy that once made Christopher Reeve fly as Superman, right? And I was doing stunts. I had to do a thing where my character has to commit suicide. Don't think we didn't bring that up. Were you anywhere near that horse? No? Fine, let's carry on. And, my character has to commit suicide and he has to sort of, leap off a building. So the first shot.
That's something for comedy.
Well, we were up on a roof, and obviously they had the crash mats and stuff, and I had to kind of leap off, and land on the mats and stuff. And obviously I was petrified the whole time because I was wearing my glasses. Petrified that they might get broken. So I was like not really doing it properly and kind of leaping like when, you know, people when they can't dive into a swimming pool, and so they put that one foot out first to sort of break their fall.
Was it you that told me that you could never get into fights?
No, I can never get into fights or go in a mosh pit because of my glasses. I've missed out in life because I can't. Because if I was in a fight and I say, "Come on, then you are," you know, and I was in a pub or something, they just have to whiff off the glasses, just knock them off. I'm done for. I got nothing.
Really bad short-sighted, are you?
Yeah, but anything's an advantage in a fight, isn't it? And the fact that they're just a blur is bound to hamper my otherwise brilliant, you know, ninja skills. So yeah, I've never got into a fight. I've never been in a fight at all. I've never, as I say, been in a mosh pit.
On the wire.
So this was making me sort of a bit worried. And anyway, so then I think, well, fine, I've done my stunt, and I did it, and everyone clapped. They were pleased with it, and the guy who said I was very good. So then they drive us to the next location, right? I'm thinking I've done my stunts now. There's a crane. I think, what's going on here? Now they need to shoot me. Like, I've already done the stunt where I've sort of leapt off the building. Now they've got to actually see me falling, right? So I have to get strapped in with this huge belt, and they clip wires onto me, and they hoist me about 30, 40 foot into the air on this wire, and I have to, and then they drop me at great speed, and I have to scream and shout. You know, it was partly acting. And,
glasses on?
Glasses, by this time I'd managed to get some wire fixed to my glasses so they wouldn't come off my head. I assured
them. They were stunt glasses. They were doing their own stunts.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
So they hoist me into there on this thing. They do a couple of sort of demo versions, you know, and just to gradually ease me up higher and higher so I kind of become acclimatized to it. And, they get me about 30 feet up, and they got these huge crash mats, like those great big ones you always see kind of stunt people have. And they set up the camera and stuff down below, and while I'm up in the air dangling there, they remove those crash mats, and they replace them with those really thin ones that you always see, like, teenage gymnasts using on Blue Peter. Do you know what I mean? The really thin ones they used to have at school, right? And I'm looking down at this, and I'm thinking, now, they may as well have shouted up, if you fall, you're done for, but we might be able to protect the equipment. Do you know what I mean? It was so rubbish.
But you weren't gonna land on the floor, presumably?
Well, the idea was that the wire would stop that.
Oh, I see, but there was no that was their safety.
That was the safety net.
Why did they not leave the real ones in?
Because they had to, I don't know, for the shot and stuff, they had to be able to do it. But anyway, what was particularly joyful is one of the other actors pointed this out, right? This is the, this is the health and safety statement from the stunt guys, right? And they obviously have to write up this health and safety statement about how they do it. And it says, we confirm that we have proper safety policies, procedures to comply with the Health and Safety Act 1974, and that we will not do anything which compromises the health, safety and welfare of your production crew, actors or members of the public. If the above situation changes, we'll advise you immediately. I mean, if they think that maybe they do want to hurt members of the public, look at that fat one over there, just try and hit her and bring him down.
Don't worry about that one. Don't worry. She can take it. She can take it.
But, so that reassured me, obviously, and, now my whole body's racked with pain. Limbs, arms, head, neck. Unbelievable.
Well, is the shot worth having? I mean,
probably not.
You'll wish you
Do you know what the cameraman whispered to me? The cameraman whispered to me, he'll probably never use it.
Yeah, Steve, you'll wish you hadn't told that wimpy tale when you hear just three random tales of near-death experiences that Karl told me.
Right.
Coming up. I mean, honestly.
Really?
At least you had stunt people and crash mats.
Yeah.
And you got paid.
Yeah. The things that he got up to, just through stupidity.
Well.
Will put you what? What one of them wasn't through stupidity?
Cakes.
I'm already excited.
The cake one?
Yeah.
Which one's that?
Sorry, you had a near-death experience involving a cake?
Hold on, I've got three. I've got the paper round, the nicking slate, and the Mr. Freeze. What's the cake one?
Yeah, I suppose. The cream cake.
Oh! Yeah.
Right, now you're talking in riddles. Can you have these next?
Yeah, play record. Cooper Temple Claws. Who needs enemies? Good question, lads. Nobody. This is XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais.
Oh, they should print a little book of those. They're great. Oh, how you can relate any song or artist to anything else.
Easy.
Joyful.
Easy. Well, yeah, so, me and Karl went out, for a beer, and it was great, wasn't it?
Yeah, enjoyed myself.
We started off,
good.
and you met my mate, Robin, didn't you?
Yeah.
And, some of the stories. Do you want to tell Steve some things about Robin that you learned?
Do you know him well?
Yes.
Well, do you know about his worm problem as a kid?
Go on.
Right. What I can remember is he had worms as a kid. Not sure how you get him, he never answered me, he was getting a bit touchy about it.
Right.
This is like the second time I met him. I think he was a bit annoyed that Ricky told me about his problem.
What now? Now, straight away, you not being there, instinctively, what do you think went on with this story about worms?
My suspicion is rather like when you told a group of people that Robin had once suckled milk from a cow's udder.
Yeah.
Did he mention that as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. My suspicion is that, like the cow story, the worm story is not true.
But
and
why would he get so sort of uppity about it?
Well, imagine
it's not true.
Imagine if that wasn't the first time he'd done it. Imagine if he did that every single time he was with somebody for the first time and Robin was just met them. He will tell that story to anyone.
But they do say there's no smoke without fire.
Oh, Robin! I also told him...
That's a fable.
I also told him that the way Robin cured these worms was because the doctor told his mother, right, to hold a piece of ham or cheese near Robin's anus so the worms would come out for the food, and he believed it.
I'll tell you why, though.
I said to Robin used to sit on Spam to try and get the worms out, and he believed it.
But Steve, right, do you remember that story about 3 or 4 years ago where there was some bloke in the army, he went away to somewhere, Vietnam or whatever, he was messing about in the woods,
Messing about in the woods?
Shouldn't he have been fighting?
Whatever.
Yeah.
Right, and he walked through some lake, and I think he'd cut his toe or something on something, and some worm of some sort crawled in the gash.
Yeah.
And, it was in his body, and the doctor said, we've got to get this out of your body. So, what they did was, they said, right, the thinnest part or something of your body that things can crawl through is on the top of your head. So, they wrapped
where the skull is.
So they wrapped some bacon.
No, they didn't!
They did. That's
right.
Everyone...
So he's gone in via the toe. So what we do is, I'll tell you what, that worm's probably heading straight for the head. We'll put a bit of bacon on it. The thinnest part of the body is the skull. Of course it's not the thinnest part of the body. It's where your brain case is, isn't it? It's the skull.
There was a reason for it. And it was like they stuck some bacon on his head. And
as ever, the vital piece of information, i.e. the reason, Karl seems to have forgotten.
Because the worm was in his body, and they said everyone likes the smell of bacon.
Including worms.
Even a Vietnamese lake worm. They love bacon.
Remember last week when I said about the little fella with the bone with no brain, and you were proved wrong?
No. No. We were saying it wasn't a little fella. We were saying it was a stillborn child. It wasn't a little fella.
You're changing it now. You weren't having any of it last week.
Right, hang on a minute. I'm getting confused. There was a Vietnamese snake that went inside of a soldier.
A little, like, maggot or some sort that you have to get out of your body because it causes problems.
Yes, and so in order to get it out of the body, they strapped bacon to his head.
Yeah.
That is great. This doctor...
And did that work?
I think so. They had a picture of him smiling.
Oh, God, what, the worm or the bloke?
The bloke.
Oh, dear.
Honestly, I hope someone knows the story.
Right.
It was about 3 years ago, I reckon.
Okay.
And, yeah, it did work.
GI bacon.
So this is why
so what, the worm burrowed out of his head to get the bacon?
Get to the bacon.
Right. That's great.
So this is why when Robin was telling his story, I was a little bit disappointed if it wasn't true.
Right.
Because in a way...
You know Robin's never been to Vietnam.
No, but what do you really think that Robin, well, as Robin said at the time, Karl, why would I sit on ham, then tell Ricky Gervais? It's a very good point.
Because if you was a kid, you do daft things like that as a kid.
Right.
He is the telling Ricky Gervais, though.
Yeah. And then, oh, bless him.
Okay.
And then anyway, Robin left, and, I tried to chase him, but he got away, and he knows that yeah. And then we had a few pints, and then, Karl embarked on some of the greatest stories ever told. Can you tell the story about your dad?
Let me run it, I haven't spoke to him all week, so let me run it by him.
Okay, play records.
Because,
What we got?
We've got, one of Steve's...
Yeah, well, bizarrely enough, this comes from the, Teachers 2 soundtrack, the soundtrack to the current TV series. There's a slight whiff of nepotism in the air.
Yeah.
Rick, would you like to explain why?
Well, that's why you're doing it. My girlfriend, worked on it. But,
yeah.
You were gonna play this anyway, weren't you?
Well, I was, actually. Bizarrely enough, I was gonna play some I Am Clute, and, this is from, as I say, the Teachers soundtrack. This is called To You. It's a good track. Clute, a track called To You from the, Teachers soundtrack. That's also got, I noticed the Electric Soft Parade, The Hives, Star Sailor, Feeder, Turin Breaks, Mercury Rev on there. It's a good little collection.
Lovely. Karl, has just had confirmation he's looking smug because someone phoned up and went, it is true, it's a Laogai chi worm and you wrap bacon around your head. That's all the bloke knew as well.
Yeah.
And his name was Gary.
Yeah.
So I'm not having it.
No.
And he said, see, that's why the Robin thing isn't so weird. He said, but when you said he tried it with cheese, he said I was having none of it. Strokes, hard to explain. Like Karl, really.
Yes. Yes.
So, Karl, concentrate.
Yeah, go on.
So, we'll leave the worm with the bacon wrapped round the head, shall we?
Well, if you're ever caught in the jungle...
Yeah, always carry some...
bit of Danish.
Good advice.
Lovely. So, would you like to start on your... to Steve, because I've heard all these.
We won't do them all.
Well, we'll start off with the Mr. Freeze. Tell Steve the story of Mr. Freeze. This is the first time he nearly died.
This is the most serious of the lot, really. So, what it was, do you know, like, I don't know if your mum and dad did the same thing, but, like, they do the weekly shopping on like, a Friday.
Yeah.
So when you got to Thursday, there won't be much stuff left in the cupboard. It'd just be like, you know, your Jacob's crackers and stuff like that. So when they'd been to the supermarket and they came back, I was like, you know, what's that saying? Like a pig in... You know, I loved it. It was like loads of food coming in, loads of biscuits.
What is that saying?
He nearly said pig and shit.
Right.
Is that the saying?
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, all this food comes in.
Thank God he didn't.
Otherwise he'd have been in trouble.
That's true enough.
Because he's culpable for our actions, because
Exactly.
he's the producer. So technically, that twat's in charge. Go on.
Right, so anyway, so there's loads of food, and I'm like, oh yeah, look at this, and chocolate biscuits, and, you know, penguins and stuff.
Bacon.
And bacon.
Just in case, you never know.
So anyway, my mum and dad's putting the food away. Me and our kid are like, he's already grabbed something, gone back upstairs.
It's like feral children. it's like a quest for fire. And then they run upstairs. What did he do, sit under the bed, gnawing at some sort of pig's trotter?
So I saw, do you remember Mr. Freeze Pops?
I do, yes. Well, they're kind of like popsicles, icicles.
Yeah, but really long, like a foot long, right? Yeah. So I thought, I'll have one of them, so I grabbed it.
Went for the nutritious stuff first.
Absolutely.
And like my mum and dad are putting the stuff away and what have you. And I rip it open and knock it back. Right, straight away, just right back like
Swallow
that.
it,
Right,
yeah.
But it went down the wrong way, right? So I
What's down your shirt?
So I was like, oh god, I can't breathe. And my mum and dad didn't even know what I'd ate. Do you know what I mean? I ate it so quick.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of tapping my mum on the back, going, she's going, oh god, you know, he's choking again, because I was always choking. If it was one thing, I don't know if I've got like a small throat, but I mean, even Ricky knows I can't drink that much, can I?
Yeah.
Do you know,
or eat pebbles.
I'm not a quick drinker. I'd always, I think I'm scared of like swallowing stuff.
Yeah.
And it was like bottle tops and mint imperials and stuff. I was always choking on stuff.
Oh, jeez.
So anyway, she's going, oh god, what's he picked up on it now?
Drop it!
So-
And she hit his nose with a stick.
So I was going, oh, I'm choking. At this point, my dad had like, I think he'd put his share away, you know, his food away, and he'd gone
His share! I love it!
Yeah.
he'd gone to watch like Winner Takes All or whatever in a lounge, and I was in the kitchen, and I was starting to like I didn't care anymore. Do you know what I mean? I just got to that point where I wasn't struggling anymore.
You just thought, I'm done
I just
for.
was like falling to the ground. And my mum's going, you know, get in here, I think it's serious. And my dad comes in and sort of starts shouting at me, saying that's what you get for being greedy. He didn't even know what I'd eaten.
Well, it was the moment to teach you a lesson, certainly.
So he's there like that, and my mum's going, oh, look at him, and my lips were going purple, and my eyes were rolling into the back of my head.
You look like Marilyn Manson.
And, so anyway, she grabbed me from behind and did that fireman thing.
The Heimlich manoeuvre.
Yeah. And, you know, winded me. And it came up, and I was alright.
What, the whole popsicle came flying back out?
You see, that's what I don't understand. Because there was nothing there.
No, just a little bit. No, it swells up, doesn't it? Because it irritated it. So it went down your, just sort of like your epiglottis. It went down the wrong way, like it went into your air canal instead of your throat, and it sort of spasms, and that's the fear. You just got to calm it down and relax.
So in time, I would have been alright.
Yeah,
anyway.
you don't.
Well, no, you might have.
So that's so that's
hang on.
one.
So, but
No, but the weird thing is, like, for, like, 3 days after that, I felt like a sort of, special person. I went to school.
I'm saying nothing.
I did full days.
a special needs person.
Yeah.
I went to school the next 3 days after that. I didn't, like, wag it or anything. I did full days.
I love that. 3 days, turned over in a leaf.
Yeah, exactly. After 3 days, you thought, screw it.
Yeah,
Well,
did a quick history exam.
But have you ever had that, where you've, like, felt like, I've been given another chance here?
Right, next
That was
one.
weird.
That's popsicle. That's popsicle hell, we'll call that. Right, next one.
Which one's the next one?
Oh, what about your paper round?
Right.
Can I ask very quickly, did your life flash before your eyes like they say it did?
No, I just sort of went really calm and, like, I'm ready for this now.
Right.
I wasn't bothered, do you know what I mean?
You had no regrets?
No. It was weird. It was really weird.
Yeah.
But anyway, the paper round one. Paper round, I'd still say it's the best job I've ever had.
And he means it!
No, I really enjoyed it. It's like, you know, you don't have to work with anyone else, right? So you make your own rules.
Just think of that.
You know, you sort of
You're
around.
spreading information
Well, yeah,
to people,
yeah,
vital information.
giving a service,
Yeah.
and no one else is around. You know, you can just do what you want and think about stuff whilst you're cycling around on your bike. It's really good.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Imagine the stuff he's thinking about when he's riding around his
I
bike.
can't. Oh, so getting in the head of a salamander.
So anyway, I loved it, and even though I only got like 50p a day, right, no matter what the weather was like and stuff, I used to get up at 4:30 and go and do the round, and
Why'd you get up at 4:30?
because I wanted to watch the Pink Panther at 5:30, so I wanted to get me paper round done.
I said, why didn't you watch the Pink Panther?
And then did the paper.
He went, oh, I can't sit there thinking I've got my paper round to do.
He'll ruin it for him.
Yeah. So is it a good job or not?
So 4:30 I was up and about, and this morning it was like winter, really bad winter, bad snow, you know, freezing cold, really windy and all that. And my mum said to me before I went to bed, she said, don't be getting up tomorrow, I'll give you the 50p. I said, it's not about the 50p. So, you know, people want the papers and stuff. So,
Conscientious.
so anyway, I went to bed thinking, you know, that's it, I've told her I'm still going, so, you know, whatever. Go to sleep, get up in the morning, and put all my kit on. I used to have layers of clothing on because it was really cold. They had like a big anorak on with the fur on, had like waterproof pants, and I got my paper round bag, and I went downstairs to get out, and tried to open the door and it was locked. Oh, God, so she'd locked it so I couldn't go out, so I'm searching around the house looking for the keys. She must have hid them somewhere. I thought, oh God, you know, I've got the papers to do. So I thought, how can I get out? So I went upstairs, climbed out of the bathroom window.
God.
Right, and to try and jump out of the bathroom window onto the porch. But the problem was, I had so much gear on, I was like the Michelin Man. So I could hardly move as it is.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get out the window, and I'm like, trying to stretch down like that, get my foot on the porch, and my bag got caught on like the hook of, do you know, like how you have a hook so you can put the window open?
Right, yeah,
The little arm goes on. My bag had got caught on that. I was holding on to the wall and my foot on the thing, so I couldn't sort of pull it away in case I pulled it away and then fell on my head.
Yeah.
So I'm stuck there,
Dangling.
My dad comes back from working nights.
Yeah.
He thinks I'm a burglar.
Gets out his gun.
So he's shouting and stuff, going mad and going, Dad, it's me. And he had to give us a hand using a...
He's heard that wily trick in Manchester before.
He had to help me using a washing prop thing. A big stick.
What did he do?
Well, he said, just hold on for your dear life, and I'll sort of push the paper bag off the hook.
Why didn't you go upstairs and sort it out?
It was at that point where I was in the middle, there was nothing you could do, do you know what I mean? It's at that point where you've just got to make a decision.
Yeah.
And by the time you go upstairs, who knows what might have happened.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? You've got to act there and then, no messing around.
Yeah.
So...
And you could hear downstairs, now here he is, the Pink Panther.
Yeah.
Dad!
Hurry up!
Pink Panther, ever so pink. Oh.
So that was close to death, because I must have been about 30 foot in the air.
Yeah.
And I would have, you know, that would have been nasty if I fell to the concrete paving, so...
Well,
And,
there's more to come. Should we play a record and come back to this? Because he's got more.
Oh yeah, no, there must be one of them where you did fall on your head. This is the one I'm waiting for. There's gotta be one. That would explain so much.
Yeah.
I nearly broke my back.
Jeez.
Once. My dad said, I bet I can't kick me height. And I said, I bet I can. And,
I don't remember this, you didn't tell me this one.
No, but it can't what?
I was in the garden, summer's day, and it was that era when, like, doing kung fu and all that was really popular.
Sure.
And I was, like, messing about in the garden, punching the tree and stuff. And my dad said...
Oh, what a kid he must have been.
my dad said, I bet you can't kick your height.
Kick your height? What do you mean, kick as high as yourself?
Yeah, so I must have been, like, 5 foot or something then. And, I said, of course I can. So I bet you can't. But instead of doing it on the grass, I did it on, like, the concrete bit. kicked it, actually did it. I went, there you go, but then, like, get my foot down quick enough and land on my back.
You paused to say, there, I've done it, as opposed to putting your foot back on the ground.
And landed on my back, and I'd still get back trouble now.
Do you?
Because they say that, don't they?
So, to cut a long story short, he gave me about 4 or 5 near-death experiences, and he went, and the whole point of this, he went, so that's why I think I'm gonna die of something horrible, like cancer. And I went, why? He went, right, you ready for this?
Yeah.
He said, well, I don't check my balls. Wait. He said, I don't like the feel.
Carl, always check your balls.
Do you check yours?
Like the feel. Why don't you like the feel of your own balls?
They just, I mean, you know that I don't like bodies anyway.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? It worries me a bit that you've got all that going on in your body, right, and your skin's keeping it all in place.
Stop. We're going down a whole other avenue of discussion. Let's play a track, let's come back to it.
Oh, right, I've brought in this, this is, free. You'll know from the jeans commercials.
Yeah, All Right Now.
Long time ago, All Right Now, yeah. But this is a great little track. This is, My Brother Jack. Stereophonics, Vegas 2 times, XFM 104.9, into the last hour.
Yeah.
And then 3 shows to go.
That's true enough.
Until we're off the air. I'm Ricky Gervais.
With him, Steve Merchant.
Carl.
Oh, yeah.
Alright?
Yeah.
Let's go on, tell you, we cut short last week, weren't we? You had an amazing story about Neil Armstrong, didn't you?
Well, we've been doing quotes, haven't we, like famous quotes.
Sure.
That have, you know, gone down in history.
Yeah.
And, I was saying, you know, quotes don't really matter. It's more the situation that you're in than the quote itself.
Go on.
So, like, Neil Armstrong, if he'd have said, you know...
Tie bacon round your head.
I'm as happy as a pig in dust.
Yeah, that would have still gone down in history as, like, being the thing that Neil Armstrong said, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But...
Space is driven in mental, probably would have been
but he chose to say something profound and meaningful, to befit the situation. It's, well, he got it wrong, actually. It's, a small step for man, one giant leap for mankind, but it was meant to say...
Yeah, we discussed this last week, Rich. Stop showing off.
Well, no, but people might have been listening last week.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I can't imagine
well,
people
we better tell him every week, then.
Yeah, but he said, he should have said, this is one, small step for a man.
Yeah.
But anyway, he had a good effort, and that's quite...
And that's an example of what I'm saying. The fact that he got it wrong, but it still went down in history.
Right.
But anyway, the bit that, and it didn't happen anyway, did it?
What do you mean it didn't happen anyway?
That's what a lot of people say. That no one's actually been on the moon.
Ah, yes, of course.
They filmed it in Teddington Studios.
Well, they were saying something about there was shadow on the film, and you wouldn't get shadow on the film, and there's all sorts of things.
These people that you always quote as they...
Who are they?
Are they living in jars? Are they little fellas in jars?
Look,
go on.
You know...
Do they appear to you in dreams?
I've spoke to different people about it, and there's loads of little things that if you watch that programme, that, you know, of them being on the moon, there is no way they could have done it.
Right.
Done.
Fine. Yeah.
Done.
Anyway.
That's put to bed.
Yeah.
But anyway, as he was getting back in the spaceship on the moon, or whether it be a TV studio, he said, good luck, Mr. Croucher.
Right.
Have you heard this? No. And the reason he said that was because when he was a young kid, and he was I think it was Croucher, but when he was playing as a young kid in his garden, he was playing baseball with his mate, and he chucked the ball to his mate, and his mate hit the ball, and the ball went over the fence to the next door neighbour, right? So he goes, right, I'll just nip over and get the ball. And as he was getting the ball, the window was open to his neighbour's house, and he heard, like, the woman shouting at her husband, saying, I'm not going to be giving you, a bit rude, so if you've got a kid in the car or whatever, turn it down. What, yeah, that's covered that, yeah. Right,
Genius.
I'm not, no matter how many times you ask me, I'm not going to be giving you oral sex. The day I do that, man would have walked on the moon. Right?
Yeah.
He grows up, he gets on the moon, and he remembers all that story, and as he gets back in the spaceship, he says, good luck, Mr. Croucher.
Now, do you know, we'll have to say, I've heard that story before, but when I heard it, the woman said, the day I give you a blowjob is the day the boy next door walks on the moon. Which makes it all the more profane.
Impossible.
And enjoyable. Yeah, and unlikely.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I've heard the same story, Carl.
Yeah.
Look how pleased he is.
I love that.
Right, so not only have you remembered that anecdote, which may or may not be true, but of course you've also proven that,
the day I give you a blowjob, that kid in the garden's probably gonna walk on the moon and say something about giant leaps.
Exactly.
But, yeah, you must have heard the thing that it never actually happened.
Yes, we've all heard it. We've all dismissed it as nonsense.
And moved on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got on with our lives.
Right, Carl.
What?
Should we do, White Van Man?
But you didn't prepare me for that. We better play a track and then I'll dish out I'll fish out the newspaper and stuff.
This is a good little, a little bootleg track here from, Meats and Poultry here. They've, mixed, A with, Outcast.
Right.
Chorus is great.
Is it highly illegal?
It is.
So people shouldn't rush to their tape machines now and press play and
Okay, so
record.
whatever you do, don't record this now if you're recording it. Hold on, don't say anything. All that bootleg's going under the name of, Nothing Miss Jackson, I think, by, Meats and Poultry. So there you go.
I do love these bootleg things because they're so pointless, but they're so enjoyable.
Yeah,
it's great.
It's just fun to do.
Yeah, exactly. Really good
they're
fun.
great. But, not as much fun as White Van Carl.
White Van Carl, absolutely. Do you want to explain the premise?
Well, we take the Sun asks someone else and asks Carl. It's as simple as that.
That's
The
that.
Sun have just taken a normal person, we flipped it. We're gonna ask Carl the same questions about the week's news.
Yeah, just basically your opinions, Carl, as ever. What do you make of, well, obviously the big news, David Beckham's broken foot? Is this a big concern for you?
No, I mean, it's sad, you know, it's sadder for him more than anyone, because, you know, to like, be in the World Cup is like the main thing for him, innit?
Yeah.
But he's still a young lad, and, I don't think he'll give up. I reckon he'll still turn up. He'll be alright. And, yeah, good luck to the lad. You know I like David, I'm not gonna slag him off.
What's words?
He says that like he knows him. Like he's popping round for drinks later.
Yeah, like we tried to stitch you up. Go on.
But, obviously yesterday, was it yesterday? I think maybe Thursday, the Sun printed a big picture of, David's, foot and encouraged everyone to touch it at midday, because hoping that this would somehow, if we all thought and prayed together, somehow that would help his foot heal. Do you believe in that?
No.
Any belief in that?
No, you're going down the old, like, Yora Geller route, aren't you?
Sure.
And it's stupid.
Yeah.
I'm sure, I mean, it's nice effort and everything, it sort of cheers everyone up.
Hold on, you believe in ghosts and warlocks and licking toads. Why is that any more stupid than all those things?
It's not gonna work, is it?
Alright.
Fine.
It's rubbish.
Okay.
Okay, what about this then? There's, apparently now available £1.5 million apartments available on an exclusive ship which sails around the world.
Yeah, it's like,
What do you make of that?
it's a huge thing, and you just, you live on it, and it's, I mean, in theory,
How big is it?
it's mental.
you know
It's
when-
like
Huge
a
luxury
town
liner.
centre.
Do you know how,
Because-
like, people said that the Titanic was the biggest ship? Was that only then? They've got
Yes.
bigger ones now, haven't they?
Yeah.
A lot bigger.
Oil tankers are much bigger, and, yeah.
No, but actual
Liners
ones
are
that
big.
people-
Yeah, it was the biggest then, yeah.
Because my mum told me that there was one that was that big that it had like rough areas on it.
Oh, don't go starboard.
Oh, God!
No, but do you know what I mean?
Right.
It was like
we're thinking of moving. We're seeing
Yeah.
the captain. We're thinking of moving to a nicer area. Oh,
I've heard they're very rough in aft.
Oh, God. Oh, that's
They steal your
fantastic.
tyres.
A ship so big that was rough areas. Oh.
how big is this one that you're talking about?
Well, I don't know, it doesn't give me the specifications here, but
They're
it's
huge. They're huge. In theory, I mean, it's that thing with, it's obviously marketing, but, they're gonna, solve, the, overpopulation crisis where soon we'll all just be floating around the sea,
Yeah,
but.
yeah. I can see that, because I mean, think about it, right? I've been talking to Ricky about it. I was hoping to buy somewhere in London, but there is no way in this world that I can afford it, right? And you look at all the wasted space, like, with the Thames, all it's doing is, like, collecting crisp packets and stuff, and Coke cans, and people have to clean it up, whereas if you got a load of boats on there,
yeah.
problem
Perfect.
solved.
Yeah. Would you live on a
Problem
boat?
solved.
What's his name did it, didn't he? What's that programme? Is it Bergerac?
Noah. Oh, Bergerac?
There was one where he lived on a boat. I think it's quite.
That was
Nine or
Shoestring.
something? Yeah, I'd give it a go anyway.
Noah.
I'd like to see you, living in the air, maybe in a giant hot air balloon.
Yeah, alright. But, no, the boat thing, because it is gonna get bad as well, isn't it? They're saying that the water's melting or whatever.
The water's melting,
The ice is melting.
Yeah.
And there's gonna be more
polar ice.
water and less land, so in
Yeah.
the future, it's probably gonna be the way we're gonna be living, isn't it?
Have you seen that film Waterworld?
Nah, I don't fancy it.
Because
Is that what happens?
that sort of predicts that, yeah.
What, are they saying that the ice thing is
Exactly,
melt?
yeah.
But at the same time, I was thinking about this a couple of weeks ago. If you get, I mean, I think I read that, like, a big chunk of ice, fell off one of the ice, what do you call them?
Caps.
Ice caps. Something like I think they said it's the size of the Empire State Building or something.
Right.
It snapped off and went into the water, and it's melted. And they say, oh, it's bad news, you know, that something that size is melting. But the way I look at it, if something that size falls into the water, it's like a big ice cube, and it's gonna freeze it up again. You with me?
Not really, Carl.
Go on.
Right, you get a giant ice cube, the size of the Empire State Building, stick it in the water, it's gonna make, it's gonna stick back on again, isn't it?
Well,
It is
no,
gonna stick back
only
on
if
again.
it freezes up again.
Yeah, well, it will
it's gonna
freeze up, the
well, it
water's gonna
won't,
get cold again, because you've just put a giant ice cube in the water.
So when you put an ice cube in a drink, the drink doesn't freeze, does it?
No,
the
because
ice
it's not,
melts.
if you put one the size of an Empire State Building in your glass of Jack Daniels, it's gonna make it freezing.
It's not going in a glass of Jack Daniels, it's going in the ocean.
I know, but you see, I'm using my fables. Imagine the world.
Use your brain instead!
Imagine the world, imagine the sea,
Yeah.
like the Arctic or whatever, as
Yeah.
a glass of Jack Daniels.
Okay.
A big ice cube falls into it.
Yeah.
It freezes, it melts back on again. So we're alright, I don't know why everyone's worrying.
God.
Thank God for that, I was getting panicked.
Oh, fine.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, that will happen.
Should we play some more music and then come back to White
Yeah,
Carl?
this is better than ever.
This is dynamite this week.
9 in there on XFM 104.9. We're doing White Van Karl. Got another one there?
Well, it's just your thoughts really on the Queen Mum's very British send-off that she was given this week.
Yeah.
What do you make of all those people queuing up to see her? Did you think that was incredible?
Right. Well, what we said last week, you know, there was I don't quite understand why there's so many people there, who were, like, getting really upset. Do you know what I mean? Really upset, crying and stuff, and, you know, you can lose someone who's, like, related to you, and you don't cry like that. You sort of sit there and you think back to what you did with them and stuff, and then that's it. But, the queue thing, wasn't it, like, miles long and stuff?
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
Right, I was sat watching this with Susan.
12
right?
hours queuing.
Yeah.
It never got to
And
12 hours.
It did, but
It
that was
did.
the estimated time.
No,
But how
you know-
long is a queue when they're just, like, you know, walking along? Think how far you can sort of, like, you know, stagger in 12 hours.
Incredible.
It's been ridiculous. Go on.
Yeah. But, again, you know, if they want to do that, it's their time and that, innit? And
Yeah.
it was at the weekend, so they could have, it's not as if they got out of work to do it.
No.
I mean, they used their own time, so good on them. But I thought, right, what they could have done, remember when I studied Che Guevara?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? And don't be offended by this, it's just an idea, because they did it with Che Guevara. Remember when they cut him up?
Yes,
Remember?
they cut him up, yeah.
What was the reason for cutting him up?
Well, they cut up Che in order to try and, you told us that they were going to send bits of his body to Fidel Castro and various other people, wasn't that right?
As a warning, wasn't it, though, to all the people, like, one to...
Yeah, my understanding was that they cut him up in order to, so they could bury him in different places so that there'd be one shrine. There'd be, like, not one place that you could go to in order
Right.
to
Well, a
sort
little
of make
bit
him into
like
a monitor.
that, little bit like that. I've, like,
I can
6
vaguely
queues.
see where this is going.
6 queues, and it's like, number 1, you can, you know, go and pay respect to her head, or whatever.
Oh, God.
No, but I just was thinking the way of speeding it up. I'm not having a go, because they haven't done it, so it doesn't matter.
God.
But they did it with Che Guevara.
Yeah.
Everybody would have felt like they've got close to her, and it would have speeded it up.
No, I mean, but I can understand.
Can I just say that genuinely, Karl is not being disrespectful here. This is his best idea to cut down the queues. So don't phone in. He's not suggesting we should have done this. He genuinely
Well, he
is. Well, but I mean, he's not doing it to be nasty or wacky or, you know, he thinks this is a good idea, so...
Can I just throw a
Because they did it
thought
with
at
Che
you?
Guevara, who was like a powerful man, he did a lot for the world and what have you.
Yeah.
And...
Are you aware that I feel slightly responsible for this, because have you heard of the quote, a little knowledge is a dangerous thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Steve, next one?
No, just a very quick question. I can understand those that have queued for 12 hours to see the head. I'd be a little bit annoyed if I got there to find a toe.
I'll tell you what, though. I'll tell you what they could do without chopping her up. They could put about 9 queues, each could see each hip she had.
That's true enough.
Because she's had about 9 of them.
Yeah.
So it'd just be, if you want to see the whole body, it's a 12-hour queue. If you just want to see a couple of the hips.
Here's another suggestion for you, I've just thought, right?
What?
Instead of everyone queuing to see her, why not put her on a trolley and wheel her past everyone else?
Running. So
yeah, you could have some students on Rag Week. They can combine it, like when they're always pushing a bed. You know, they could just run it along the queue.
No, that'd be fantastic. That'd be disrespectful.
Right, as opposed to the chopping up.
So
sure.
Right.
But just an idea.
Just I apologise now. If anyone's offended.
Anyone offended, I'm sorry. But
Yeah.
Okay, finally, this is more frothy. Liz Hurley lying low, apparently, at Elton John's house to try and avoid the press now that she's had a child.
That's a good place to go to avoid the press.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, Elton John's house.
Everyone seems to be friends with Elton John, don't they? Every celebrity's
When
friends
did
with...
pop into Elton John's house? What is he running some sort
But
of...
it was like when Robbie Williams was a drunkard and a drug addict, he went to Elton John's.
Yeah, and who's the
Elton
other
helped
fella
him.
that went there as well? Was someone to, you know, to recuperate and shoulder to cry on? Is he giving out false passports?
But I don't know if people have seen his history. He's not the man of, you know, I mean, I know he's cleaned himself up now, but, you know, maybe that's it. Maybe he's got this kind of insight into how to deal with celebrity.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think it's just genuine mates with him. I think he's just like a friendly
I
bloke.
think she's been doing too much lying low in the first place. That's part of the problem, isn't it?
High five, Carl.
That was a genuine joke from Carl there. And he's so proud of himself. Look at his little face.
Too much lying low.
Oh, that was my
but I
man,
agree
Carl.
with you. Why can't she just go around to her mum and dad's or something rather than Elton John where everyone's looking? Yeah.
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 That's the point, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that was good, yeah.
Very good, yeah. Right, what music we got? We got,
Bit of Flaming Lips.
Flaming Lips, excellent. There's the classic Race for the Prize. Should have been a big hit, never was, sadly. The Flaming Lips and Race for the Prize. Just playing that, Rick, for everyone who emails us in. We get a lot of emails every week, but obviously don't really respond to them because we're very lazy people, but we obviously appreciate it. And I play that particularly for Claire, who's emailed in saying her friend Sarah Prosser would like some Beatles. We're not going to play the Beatles this week, but Sarah apparently loves us more than words can express.
More than Carl could express.
Absolutely.
Spread your love on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais, with me, Steve Mitchell. And now it's Carl's bit. It's the re-education of Carl. He's like Liza Doolittle. And now he's coming, or Lawnmower Man, if you've seen that film. More like Lawnmower Man, if you've seen the film. You'll know what I mean. And his homework was to just study quotes, really, on happiness and stuff, and general well-being. He's not a big happiness, quote fan, are you, Carl?
Not really.
So what have you done? You've come up with something, haven't you?
Right, yeah, I told you, right? Because a lot of these are just things you say every day. They're nothing special. So what I'm doing...
Well, you say them every day.
Well, the sort of things you come out with and you don't even think about it, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're on the TV all the time, people on the radio are saying these sort of little quotes.
Sure.
And, what I've done is, remember that programme on Channel 4, Faking It?
Yeah.
Where they got some, like, posh kid to be on a door and all that. What I've done, I've,
Imagine if that was the pitch for the show. Dear Channel 4. Just gonna get a posh kid on a door or something?
Yeah,
Yours
come
sincerely,
in,
Carl.
come in. Yeah.
TV producer.
Yeah, yeah, go on.
So, what I've done, this little book of quotes, happiness quotes, I've picked two that are real.
Okay.
And I've made one up. Right?
And we've got a guess.
And you've got to guess.
Okay then, go on.
Well, I'll tell you what, Rick, why don't we, when we've heard them, we won't confer.
No.
You'll write down yours,
Yeah.
A, B, or C, and I'll write down mine, and we'll see how it
Okay,
works.
Carl, off you go.
Right, and just because I'm looking at this book, it doesn't mean I'm actually reading.
No, I know,
Don't
no,
worry,
no.
we're clever.
No, we know, we can't see yet.
Like, call my bluff.
Yeah, go on then.
Nothing is worth more than this day.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah?
Alright.
Yeah.
The way I see it...
Oh God, my head's gonna burst.
No, hang on.
My head's gonna burst.
No,
Hang
no,
on.
this might not be Carl's.
It might not be.
How do you know I haven't tweaked them a little bit?
Yeah, good
Okay,
point.
fair
Good
enough.
point. No, good point.
The way I see it, if you want the rainbow, you gotta put up with the rain.
Yeah, okay.
Alright?
Alright, yeah.
Okay, hang on. It's not here.
Come on.
Cat food.
Cat food, go on.
It stinks of it. But, if you don't put up with the smell, the little kitten will die.
Steve! I don't know what to say! I don't know what to say. Imagine this in faking it. Imagine their faces when he says that and they're going, oh my God. Oh. Carl, play a song, mate.
We'll have to confer on this one.
Bye, Blair. Well, that's just amazing, Carl. Just read them again. Two were real, one was fake. Go on then.
Right. First one. Nothing is worth more than this day.
Excellent. Next one.
What does that mean?
Well, cherish now, cherish your time.
Okay.
Because you can't get it back, and, you know.
That's the way I saw it.
Carpe diem, whatever it is, seize the day and all that.
Okay. If you want the rainbow, you've got to put up with the rain.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, rough with the smooth. You know, it's not all plain sailing, but, you know, rainbow's beautiful, but it comes because of the rain, which you might not like, so.
Yeah.
Make the most of everything, and, good.
Cat food doesn't smell good, but if you don't put up with it, then the little kitten will die.
Right, now, Carl, that is a good effort. Now, that one's yours. I mean, obviously, right? Right, no, but it's a good effort, right?
I mean, it slipped seamlessly into the others.
Yeah.
I don't think it didn't.
No, but it's good. I mean, we knew it was that one, but, what I will say is, it's good, but what you don't know, maybe subconsciously, is, I mean, it's very similar to, the putting up with the rain and the rainbow, but that's good.
Why do you think that?
Well...
What does mine mean?
Well, even though it smells bad, it's good for something.
Right, so I didn't look at it like that.
What did you look at that?
I kind of thought...
Was yours more specifically about cat food, generally? Because, you know, normally it's an analogy.
Yeah, or a metaphor for something, you know, much bigger.
Well, no, the way I
mean, Dolly Parton, who I think did the rain thing, she wasn't specifically concerned about weather conditions.
No.
It was a sort of general idea.
It was all about life.
Yeah, well, that's what I've done.
Go on,
I've used an everyday thing.
Yeah.
And put it with today's problems, right?
Go on.
So, like, my girlfriend, she might like to go shopping for clothes. I hate it.
Right.
But because I love her, I put up with it.
Ah, that's nice.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So, you love that little kitten. You can't stand the smell of the stuff you gotta feed it. But because you love it, you go, well, you know, I'll put up with this just for a few minutes, and then I can, like, squeeze its head later and give it a little... Sorry. Can we go back? You know, stroke its head and stuff.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Sorry, it was a bit of a slip, was it?
Squeeze its little head.
No,
yeah.
Well, that's just the thing that I do with cats.
Put it in a bag and drown it in a lake.
I can feed it and then I can throw it against the wall.
Exactly.
So you didn't see it like that, did you?
No, that's very good. So it's about love, is it? It's about putting up with the bad things for something you love.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice.
But Carl, you seem now to be convinced and rather smug that you've tricked us and that you've fooled us and that we didn't understand it. Well, but I say that's your fault, not ours.
No, it's not though. I mean, look, that man in Forrest Gump, he was a bit of a nutter. And he came up with the life as a box of chocolates thing.
Yeah.
Now, if that was in this book, you say, oh yeah, brilliant, you know, good bit of work. But if he was sat here doing the show with you, you'd be taking the mickey out of him.
Sometimes I feel he is.
No, but, Carl, I could, in fact, if people are out there, we're too lazy, could you write down everything Carl's ever said? Because I think we could publish that.
Yeah.
He said one today, he saw my, salamander, it's not a euphemism, he saw my salamander and it's just sitting there in the tank.
Your exotic pet.
Yeah, and he's worried about there not being a lid on, and he said, I went, what are we worried about? He said, wow, he said it sits there for 24 hours a day, obviously planning to get out.
Well, it's got nothing else on its mind, and it's the daft thing is, he has actually got the lid ripped up a little bit. Like, it's got nothing else to think about. And it'll be looking up there, and it's gonna get out.
But what's the worst that could happen?
What's it thinking? What do you think it's thinking, this salamander?
It's got its eye on the DVD player. I could have Ian be down the market.
Well...
Oh, God.
Are they dangerous?
Can I just say something?
Are they dangerous?
I think the salamander's thinking exactly the same things as you. I mean, to look at you, you've got the same expression on your face. You know what I mean? You're dressed in green as well. You've got a little round sort of Hamburglar type head, like the salamander. Very similar. And yet I think, and you bonded with it, didn't you?
Yeah, but I probably would have tried to get out, but my little paper round bag would just hang on the corner.
Yeah.
Listen, can we have more nepotism on the show? I know that we did that earlier with the teacher
haven't got long, have we?
We haven't. My housemate, you remember I was working out with him last week to Helen from Big Brother's dance-a-size video.
That's just frightening.
Yeah, we've kind of let that slip a little bit, I've got to be honest. But anyway, he's joined this band. They're called Fujiya and Miyagi. Slightly difficult to pronounce, but anyway, this is a track that I think's been getting some play by Nick Luscombe and John Kennedy on XFM. They got a gig this week at the Pool on Curtin Road. That's 18th of April, Thursday. Let's play it.
Can I just say I've got a fridge freezer for sale, 400 quid or nearest offer.
Fujiya and Miyagi performing live Thursday the 18th of April at the Pool on Curtin Road. Admission is free, Rick, so I imagine you'll be heading down there.
Yeah, I will. Well, I've enjoyed this show.
Yeah, it's been a good one.
It's great. It's been great. Carl, any more? Oh, tell that story that you were telling me about your dad when he was driving.
Well, it's just that you were talking about, well, I mentioned Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
And, the Forrest Gump types. When my dad was when he was a taxi driver.
Yeah.
You used to have to, sort of do your bit for the local area.
Oh, God.
By taking the Forrest Gump people to Blackpool.
Yeah.
Is that what they're called now, the Forrest Gump people? Is that what the organisations that support them ask for them to be referred to?
A minibus with Life is a Box of Chocolates.
Exactly.
.com.
Well, Forrest Gump types.
It must be, so you work with these people?
It was,
the people with learning difficulties.
And they used to get 5.
Coming home must have been a busman's holiday.
So he got 5 of them in the cab.
Yeah.
And he had to go to Blackpool, and 4 of them were really good, you know, behaving themselves, didn't mess about, weren't fighting and stuff, but there was one who was just causing loads of trouble and he couldn't control him.
Oh,
and what you've got to be able to do with people like that, you don't want them to get stressed out because it's not good for them. It stresses them out, and you could end up with a bit.
Thanks, Dr. Karl.
You could end up with a bit of a riot on your hands. So he thought, I'll nip this one in the bud right now, and he pulled up just on the outskirts of Blackpool, and he took the one out that was causing problems and put it in a wheelie bin.
Oh, no. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologise.
He did what?
Oh,
He did it for the good of the others. He put it in a wheelie bin. He was having a good time. He thought it was one of the rides.
Can you stop saying it?
Him.
Yeah.
He you know, he was having a good time, and once he calmed down, my dad went back and picked him up, and he was fine. He had a good time.
He left him in there the whole time the others were in Blackpool?
No, he left him there, not the whole day, probably about an hour and a half.
In a wheelie bin?
In a wheelie bin.
Why couldn't he get out?
Because, like, his arms were trapped on the thing. One of those,
What, he tied him up?
No, do you know, like, because he was a big fella, and, like, he managed to get him in so his arms were down the side like that, so he was a bit trapped.
Wasn't he screaming and crying and stuff?
He was making a bit of noise, but, do you know what I mean?
What, you feel so right?
Well, but anyway, I didn't really want to talk about it. He just brought it up because of Forrest Gump.
Did his, family know about this? Is this the first time they'd have heard about this?
He didn't get asked to do it again. Because he had another problem similar to it where he had a little minibus, and it was his job to take a load of old women to the bingo hall, and it was miles away. And he took him there. There was no problem. About 10 old women in a minibus.
One of them was causing trouble. So he pulled over it.
No, right, so he took him there, everything's fine, he dropped him off, they had a lovely night, right, they had a lovely night, won a bit of cash, coming back, it's a bit of a late night, and they all started moaning at him, going, I want to be dropped off here, take me there, I want to be dropped off first, I've got to get up early, blah blah, you know, my husband's expecting me, I'm already late, take me here first, take me there, and he just pulled up, in the middle of nowhere, said, get out. And he made them get out, and they all called for taxis. They charged that company who was meant to be taking him home in the minibus, and he got the sack. But a similar sort of story. You can't be dealing with it when people don't sort of just calm down and, like, solve the situation.
Yeah.
They're just all like, I want to be dropped off first, take me here first, take me.
Yeah, so he acts like a madman. Good.
Oh, that's
Alright, we've got a crack on, haven't we, really? We got
says so much. Yeah.
Yes, Nick Drake, a song for the ladies this week from the album Brighter Later, At the Time of a City Clock. That's
Goodbye.
it. Yeah,
Goodbye.
See you next time.
Bye.